Big Sills. Big Sills, baby. And it is a football Monday, and we start the program off already with some breaking news. And this is kind of like the calm before the storm. You're going to see a lot of teams jockeying around for some position players also, as players are going to get cut next couple days. Even the Eagles have to go from 91 players down to 53. So you're going to see a lot of player movement. And right out of the gate here, let's bring this up, Xander. The Dallas Cowboys have inked CeeDee Lamb to a brand new 4-year contract worth $136 million. That's a little under Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings, who is going to make an annual salary of $35 million. However, making him the second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The deal also includes a $38 million signing bonus, the largest ever given to a wide receiver. So again, think about what this deal is. They came in underneath Justin Jefferson's annual number of $35 million, but they gave him the most when it came to a signing bonus. That's the real money in this deal here too. So I'm assuming next up will be Dak Prescott, but we shall see. So they gave a guy who led the NFL in receptions. Again, I get it as a slot receiver. Where do I put him on the pantheon of wide receivers in the NFL? Jefferson is the top wide receiver in the National Football League. Second, I think it's debatable on whatever you feel your team could move the sticks with the personnel on the team. I'm a personal A.J. Brown guy, even though he moans and bitches and cries. He does produce. I would make the comment that I don't have a problem with him being 2. Devontae Adams is a special player. He's out there now in the shitty Raiders. He's in purgatory. I'm not a Jamar Chase guy. I don't like finesse wideouts. That's why I'm not a Tyreek Hill guy. I actually like the guy in Seattle, DK Metcalf. That's one of my guys. That's a guy that I could go into a football game with and I know he's going to knock people out in the secondary. I like big, physical wideouts. Deebo Samuel is not really a wideout. He's a football player used like a Swiss Army knife, as we said. Chase is great. Just not my cup of tea, man. By the way, guys, do me a favor here on this Football Monday. Please hit the like button. Okay, I appreciate you guys very much. Last week was one of the absolute best weeks of the year so far, and we appreciate you guys. Massive likes, massive views. Keep killing it. We appreciate it. 3:30, the co-host of Birds 365, as always, Xander Krause will join us. And from Fox 29 in Philadelphia, our dear friend Gary Cobb, former Eagle, will give us what he saw this past weekend at the Eagle game. We'll get to that here in a minute. So CeeDee Lamb signs a brand new 136 4-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys, paying him an annual salary of about $34 million a year. So kudos to him. College football weekend started off this past weekend in Ireland. FSU was upset by Georgia Tech. I love seeing college football back. Game day in Ireland was kind of weird, but it was cool. Big schedule of college games this week. By the way, just a note, Miami Hurricane head football coach Mario Cristobal will be on with us on Friday at 3:30. Dabo Swinney later in the week, the head football coach at Clemson. So we'll get him on later in the week as college football is big this week. Also, this is cutdown week. We're going to get to our takeaways here in a second. How about this, man? What was your overall takeaway of the Eagles preseason? What was it? To me, every game I watched was underwhelming. I really didn't see anything that really made me go, wow. So all I got was practice comments, how good they were in practice. So I don't know. I'm not going to take it from reporters who are covering a practice and telling me how good they are. Practice? Okay, Well, I'm going to use an Iverson line. We're talking about practice. That's right. P.I., there was a preseason? Not for the Eagles, there wasn't. Not for the Eagles. By the way, all super chats go to the top. You guys are great. Aaron Judge will reach 70 home runs, Sills. Incredible. He may even reach Derek Jeter status. Hit his 50th and 51st home run over the weekend. That guy may actually end up, if he wins a World Series, as popular as Jeter. We shall see. Here, underwhelming, absolutely. Depth that we have sucks. Nolan's technique for his size needs a lot of work. Nolan Smith was terrible. And that was the biggest body of work that he's had since he's been an Eagle, and he was terrible. Okay? And he was going against bums, and he was terrible. This preseason was all about learning the new scheme. It sounds like they passed their quizzes in practice and failed their tests in games. Bob, excellent. I didn't see anything that was special in games. And you're going to go, well, they didn't put their first team out. Okay, well, then how the fuck do you know how good they are and what they worked on? Because why? They went against a sub-average defense? How do you know that? How? Again, I don't even know that. I can't sit here and be definitive even on my end. I don't know that. Here's my takeaway from the preseason and Minnesota. By the way, we're going to look at the 2024 Green Bay Packers as well. That game was terrible. Here, I tweeted out, linebackers that they played didn't have any idea how to blitz. They were late under blitzes, and it just I get it, 2s and 3s, but you would have thought there would have been more of a sense of urgency. Poor angles, poor effort, poor attitude. But then again, it embodies exactly how the Philadelphia Eagles look at the exhibition season. They don't really take it with a big emphasis that it's going to help your team. They think practicing on Tuesdays in a controlled environment where you don't tackle and you don't hit is all they need. I'm not a believer in that. Especially when I see some of the good teams that use the exhibition season for exactly what it is, high-quality reps. It's funny, isn't it? Kansas City got more out of their preseason again than the Eagles in the last 3 years have gotten out of their preseason. There's no coincidence that they're going for their third Super Bowl in a row. Or look at Baltimore, how they take their exhibition season. You know, Baltimore, they play every exhibition season to win it, all of them. And it carries over into the season for them. It's an attitude and it's a mindset. I mean, and get this, like you said, last year, and here's something that really just blows my mind again. And you're right, Andreas. Sills, Nick said last year he regretted not playing the starters in preseason. Why do it again? Well, because he was told. He was told by Howie and the owner that, get this, that they were going to only play one side of the ball. They were only going to play one side of the ball. You know what? I'm not even talking score here. I never bring up score in preseason football. I really don't. However, I bring up effort. I bring up attitude. I bring up flying to the ball. I didn't see any of that. It's like, well, you know what? The owner doesn't care about preseason. The GM doesn't. The head coach surely doesn't. That was a terrible effort. Nolan Smith is terrible. He has had a brutal preseason, and you're relying on him to be an edge rusher. You don't have an edge rusher with him. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying. He's not good. How about this? I'll even concede this. He's not good yet. He's not good. You can come up with every freaking lie you want. Just stop. Yeah, stop, James Young. Stop lying to yourselves. He's not good. He's a weak edge player. Hey, man, He was a fabulous college football talent. That doesn't always necessarily translate to the next level, especially when you're so undersized like that. He is just not good. Seals, I expect a drop-off when you run the threes, but when the twos are on the field, the product needs to be closer resembling game day output. They had one bad play away from seeing real time. Absolutely, Bob. Absolutely. That was shitty effort. It was shitty effort. Nolan needs to learn to become an off-ball linebacker. Dude, the Eagles drafted a project, and that guy is not shown anything. He has not shown anything. That Calvin is right on. If I see Nolan Smith in a game, exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to run the ball right down his throat. Then I'm going to run it over at Bryce Huff's throat. You guys actually think you have run-stopping defensive outside edge rushers? Dude, the only guy you have that's worth the shit is Josh Sweat. Don't kid yourself. Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith are not three-down edge rushers. They are not. Nolan Smith can't cover threes on a football team. How is he going to cover Josh Jacobs coming out of the backfield for Green Bay in week 1? Who? You got Williams? Who? Milton Williams is going to play over the guards. They're going to play that 5 front. Sweat's one end, Huff's the other end. And Nolan Smith's going to come in and rush. I mean, shit, you could make the argument that project kid, Jalix Hunt, may actually be a better football player than Nolan Smith right now. Right now. Hey, get this. I've seen Jalix Hunt more now than I've seen Nolan Smith, and I feel better about him than I do Nolan Smith. And he's the 30th pick in the draft. Hey, there's your defensive guru when it comes to drafting again. He can't draft an edge rusher. At least not in the first round. Holy cow. I'm watching this guy, and I'm watching his technique's terrible. Hey, by the way, just so you know how I look at it, they played him like 3 quarters. They wanted to get him as much reps as possible, Nolan Smith. And they put him in a position to succeed against threes. How is he going to line up against the elite players in the National Football League? Guy sucks, man. I'm not going to call him a bust yet, but he sucks. Seals, Nick needs an excuse in January for another playoff loss. Is the reason for not playing starters to keep his gig. Hey, but Nick can always fire back and go, the fucking owner and general manager told me to do that. They told me to do that. Come on, man. Howie's gimmick drafting all Georgia players. Well, we're going to talk about them dudes too. That's Howie for you. Watch them cut the wrong guy too. Hey, Prince, there's not a chance in hell, and you know it, that they're cutting Nolan Smith. There's no chance. No way. He was a first-round pick. Nolan is out of position for sure. He should be in middle line. Absolutely not. He's another Schwimp. Dude, that guy does not look stout. Him and Dean don't look physical. Okay? Xander, someone says we missed 34's super chat here. Big Sills, or Big Bill. Big Sills. I think Lamb is overrated because it seems they tend to take plays off how he's more going to control the TOP if they don't run. The time of possession is going to be key early. I was just talking to Xander about that. Time of possession is going to be big. And here's the thing, 34. You got to remember something here. You're going to throw the ball. That means 3 and outs. And you got Barkley already hurt. By the way, Barkley's hurt already? He's nursing back injuries, and some are saying that he's got like a disc issue already. Holy shit. Dude, I hope Barkley's ready for Green Bay. Somebody who I trust told me he's got a disc issue in his lower back. I mean, you're going to need that guy. You're going to need him. Still, the easiest person to lie to is yourself. Some of these players need to take a self-inventory about their abilities. What do you mean? Like John Dotson? Did you hear that guy talking? Did you hear him talking? Sounds like Nolan and Jacoby need to get on. Hey, 77. They need to eat a couple pizzas. They need to eat a couple pizzas. Hey, let me get to let me finish up my takeaways. Cooper DeJean, you guys keep telling me he's going to start game 1. He looked like he was completely out of place out there. You know, and I tweeted that out, and everyone's going, it's his first game. No dick. That's my point. No shit. He got turned around 100 times out there. He looked terrible. Schultz, hey, did he enjoy being out there? Did he play fat? Yeah, but he didn't know what he was doing. I got multiple disc issues in my lower back, and I get up and put in a work every day. Give him a shot, send him out there. Daniel, I got it, dude. I got it, man. I got it. Okay? Okay, get this. Hey, look at this guy here. Spike says I'm lying. What'd you see about Nolan Smith? He says I'm lying about Nolan Smith. He says I'm lying about Barkley. Yeah, because that's what we do here. Are you fucking crazy? Why would I lie to you, Spike? What in the world do I get out of that? Lying to Spike. Holy shit, dude. You value yourself way more like some of the Eagle players do. That I would lie to you and sit here and make something up to what, appease you? Or to aggravate? You're out of your mind. What is wrong with you? What would make you think that you're that important in my life to lie to? Good grief. Dude, you're out of your tree. We don't do that here. I would rather tell you an opinion than lie to you. Just have an opinion. No, I tried lying to my wife. It's not good. It means I don't eat that night. Nah, it's not good, man. Okay? He thinks Nolan Smith is good. DeJean will be fine. Get this here. Guy, even Prince misses the point. I told you, be ready after the bye. That's what I said. I'm not saying he's not going to be fine. I said you guys got him starting in the slot or in nickel in week 1 against Green Bay. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Okay? Right. Stay off the Coke and coffee. Hey, why don't you stay off your knees? Try to get off your knees for Howie. Tell you what I'll do. I'll stay off the Coke and coffee. You stay off your knees. Fair? Got a deal. Seals, I know it's just preseason, but why was it still embarrassing? Because they didn't give a shit. Because the ownership doesn't give a shit. The GM doesn't give a shit. Okay? I mean, I think it would be a mistake to have DeJean in the slot after having Quinyon there all preseason. So do I. Quinyon is hands down better in coverage. I want him on guys like Lamb. Not DeJean. Right now, true. Okay? True. Let's see here. Slay, Rogers, Mitchell, Reed, and CJ. That's what I said would be your starting secondary, and it will be. Slay and Rogers at the corner, Reed and CJ in the safety position, and you're going to put Mitchell in the slot. Absolutely true. There's your secondary. There's your secondary. I said it a month ago. It was going to be that. But what I really like is this. Let's tee it up, baby. September 6th. No exhibition football. Let's go get the Green Bay Packers. Let's go get the Packers. Holy cow. Hey, let me get Dotson here and how he spoke, and then Sirianni here. Hold on. Yeah, here's Dotson. Yeah, here's Dotson. He was asked about over the weekend about being traded. Yeah, I was shocked. It was really something that, I did not expect was to be traded. He said, Barkley said, you got to come into this place and you got to work. It's going to be a place of work. It's funny, Barkley didn't realize the previous 2 years, according to Javon Hargrave, was a country club. They decided to put some work in this offseason and in preseason. And I think it's benefited them, and I do think it'll help them in Green Bay and Brazil. I do. He said this about, he goes, I practiced with them, and, they told me that they really liked me and respected me. Dude, they're talking shit to you. Nobody drafts you 16th. And then a year and a half later, trade you if they respect you and like you. And by the way, respect and like you have nothing to do with pro football. They didn't do right by you. This guy, again, he's a little delusional. This kid Dotson's a little delusional in who he is. He says, I got to find a role. I don't know what that role is yet. Dude, no. Here's your role, son. You're the third wideout that's going to get, if you're lucky, 35 catches this year. That's your role. You don't know your role yet? Well, here, let me help you out. I know that sitting here doing my show, what your role is. Okay? Seals, this is nothing new. That's why Eagles are 1-3 in Super Bowls. They do everything the wrong way, and we have an amazing talent and never cash in. Correct. You do everything that's needed to get to the game, and you don't do everything you need to finish the game. Okay? Hey, get this. Here's Prince's benchmark for Dotson. He's better than Watkins. Okay. 16th pick in the draft is better than Watkins. Congratulations. Wow. That's a real reach. You mean more like a reach around. This guy's delusional. I don't know what my role is. Hey, Dotson, here's your role. You're the third wideout. We're going to use you as a decoy on the numbers when we want to put Devontae and AJ in the slot to try to create some more space for Jalen to move people around. That's your role. You are third man on the pecking order. Maybe not even that. You're probably the fifth outside of Barkley and Goddard. I mean, relax, kid. I know your role sitting here right now. He doesn't know his role? He goes, I'm already starting with the playbook. Great. Well, congratulations. Welcome to the NFL. He said he doesn't have a problem playing in the slot or out on the numbers. I don't think you understand something here, Dotson. You were brought to the Eagles to be the third wheel in a wide receiver room that they don't really like. Get a clue. You're not that good. You are not a 1 or a 2 receiver in this league. You are a third dude. You're in the room with Quez Watkins. Those type of dudes. Know your role. This kid still thinks because he's a first rounder, he's Devontae Smith. He's not. He's not. By the way, this is defending Devontae and AJ. That's what I'm doing here. Those are your top dogs. You see, just like in the mafia, you have captains, and then you have lieutenants, and then you have people who work down there, and those are the people that go out and steal shit. You're down there with the riffraff. That's who you are. Says, why the F are you hating so hard? I'm not hating. I want the kid to know what hating. How is hating telling a kid his role? Hating? Look at Marshall. I'm just trying to tell you the kid his role. I'm not hating. This is who you are, son. Hey, look at this. Let me show you how delusional this guy is. How many guys have you ever seen that were the third wide receiver on a football team make all pro? Like none. Zero. Very hard for a 2 to make it. But he's going to be an all pro. Okay. Dotson's going to make history. Hey, wait a minute, though. Let's do this. Hey, Marshall, know your role. The quicker you know your role, the better off the team will be. AJ, Devontae, Barkley, Goddard, Dotson. When they're passing meals out, you're the fourth guy that gets his plate. JB, get this. I'm hating on Dotson. No, I'm not. I'm telling you who you are. I'm telling you who you are. Says, don't you have to hold yourself to that standard if you get drafted first round? I thought you're supposed to have that mentality. Yeah. I'll buy a little of that. Supposed to have a little ego. But when you get cut or traded a year and a half, I would think you should be more humbled. That an organization quit on you, traded you into division. Aren't you humbled? What attitude would you have if you were the 16th pick in the draft and your team came to you a year and a half later and traded you to a team that was your bitter rival in the division? Would you not have a problem with that? Really? I would be humbled and hungry. Daniel goes like this. Shit, I think he'll be the 5th option behind Barkley. Probably so. Marshall Faulk was traded. Yeah, you know for who? Edgerrin James. Both are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I don't know. Looks like that deal got worked out well. Hey, Sills, do you think Goddard stays healthy? No, I don't. No, I don't. Here, King. I would be disrespected. Dude, Washington took a giant shit on him. Took a giant shit on him. Name a wide receiver with his talent. What talent? They quit on him. Throughout the entire offseason, you said your team doesn't have a third. Now we do. What's the problem? What did you not hear me say that your role is being the third wideout? What did you miss, Prince? I didn't say it was a bad deal. I'm telling you that the kid still thinks he's somebody he's not. I didn't say that. He's going to get 30 catches, about 350 yards, being a 3 guy. Is that the 16th pick in the draft? Is he supposed to say no? What is he supposed to say? My role is to come here and help the team any way I possibly can. Especially after being basically cut or traded in the division. Are you crazy? He's a third number 3. He's a good number 3. This guy still thinks he's the number 2 guy. It ain't happening. It's over. You'll never be a 2 unless someone gets injured in Philadelphia. Ever. And you're not quite good enough anyway. I believe in Dotson no matter the role. Unlike the unreliable Redskins, they don't get nothing right. Well, I think they got Terry McLaurin right. Hey, what round was that guy taken in? Could somebody tell me what round Terry McLaurin was taken in? Because they got him right. Was he a first rounder? Here's something. Here we go, too. He was asked by a reporter what he had when it came to his weakness and maybe a weakness that he had. And he goes, well, I really don't have one. I just got to work on being the best I can and work on the playbook. This guy doesn't think he has a weakness? Then why were you dealt? Fans got to stop hyping every player we trade as if it's a game changer. Pipe down. No shit. So wait a minute. Terry McLaurin was the 3rd rounder. This kid was the 16th pick. You don't think they know the difference when they see a star receiver versus the 16th pick? McLaurin's a star. He's a star. Please hit the like button. Now, here's Nick Sirianni in his high school speech after the 3rd preseason game. He was asked a question about Dotson. He goes, I liked him 2 years ago. I guess he was part of the 30 visit, and they brought him in. And he goes, I liked him then. He didn't like the way they played, lack of focus in that game against Minnesota. They said that they look more at the practices than the organized team practices. And there's no question that they take those organized team practices with a higher emphasis than they do quality game reps. Why would Andy Reid put Patrick Mahomes in a situation where another team could dive at his knee and not just practice at Arrowhead in the preseason and just keep him in a box or a garage? Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Why would he played him in 2 of the 3 preseason games? Long, lengthy times, too. Why would he do that? Why would he play a guy who's going after NFL immortality this year with 3 straight Super Bowls, playing in an exhibition game that doesn't fucking matter? And the Eagles take the exhibition season and have no caring about getting game reps, communicating right. Remember what Vic Fangio said? Vic Fangio said those practices are not real football. Those practices are teaching tools. That's not real football. And I got guys like ESP posting on the WIP Twitter that the camp was insane. Okay? It's good to know. You spent $200 million on your offense. You better be ready to go. Dude, that doesn't impress me. You spent $200 million on your offense. You better be ready. You guys tell me all the time. Xander says it too. Shit, Sills. I don't want to hear that. You make $50 million. Yeah, I don't want to hear it either. $200 million you spend. I don't want to hear it. Okay? I don't want to hear it. I know it's your channel. You decide what you talk about. But I'm asking, can you talk about the upcoming season, like how our defense needs to step up and make a Super Bowl? I'm going to get to all that, my friend. Okay? I'm going to get to all that. I promise. Why Fangio's staying in the booth so nobody won't throw shit at him when they see this trash-ass defense. Troy, I don't think that's why he's doing it. I don't think he wants any influence of anybody saying any shit in his ear and that he's going to make the calls himself. And I like that, actually, him being up there. This looks like a good take. Sills, you remember the Colts team Manning was on that had a high-scoring offense, but their defense was so bad, it was always high-scoring games. You think there could be something like that this year? Hey, a Tube, maybe you want to do a little research. Maybe the year that they won that Super Bowl in Indianapolis, I could have swore that Colts team, even with Bob Sanders and Dwight Freeney on it, I could have swore they were 27th. I could have swore they were 27th that year. The year they won that Super Bowl in Indy. I could have swore that, and then they got really hot playing defense in the postseason. I could have swore that that's how that played out. Okay? I could have swore that's how that played out that year when Manning was scoring all that. And yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, David, didn't they have Freeney and Brackens? Right? Didn't they have Freeney and Brackens? That was their edge rushers. I thought it was Brackens and Sweeney that they had. Making excuses to have a trash defense. We need good players, not more offensive players. Try to outscore everyone. The 2024 Eagles are the 2016 Cowboys. Go look up their rosters. Great offense with terrible defense. Oh, Mathis, Robert Mathis. That's right. Thanks, Ray. Okay, it was Mathis. Still, a lot of people like Dotson then. Washington loved him then. Unfortunately, it's how he projects into our system today that matters. He's a third dude. He's a third guy. That's all I care about. He's not a one or two. Hey, if you traded him to be a one or two, you're in trouble. You traded him to be a three, perfect fit. That's what his skill set is now on the Eagles. He's a number, get this, on the Eagles, he's a three. He's a three. '77 goes, I was at that AFC Championship game that year. Sanders came back healthy late in the season, and their defense played good late in the season and in playoffs. That's exactly what happened. He had missed a ton of games. They put him back in there in the secondary, and they got really hot in the postseason. He got really hot. The same reason we sucked at tackling last year, especially now with the hip drop tackle being removed. Missed tackles is going to scare me this year. Yeah, it's going to be a factor everywhere in the league, though, too. Guys, please hit the like button. Disciple. We can't improve today's football to the early. We can't compare today's football to the early 2000s. That was the golden age of football. Now the NFL is more like the XFL. Yeah, they don't want tackling. You know how Dana White doesn't want grappling? He wants strikers at UFC. Why? Strikers create ratings. Grappling doesn't. But yet grappling still is, that's what makes Khabib the greatest of all time next to Jones. Okay? Those guys are great. I'm glad he got paid, put more pressure on y'all to sign Dak and Parsons. I got to tell you something, Martin. If I'm Dak Prescott, I know this. I have more of a chance of making more money in the open market than I do in Dallas. If I sign with Dallas, I'm going to get a hometown discount. Let me get in the open market. And plus, Dallas can't trade you. So Dallas is just going to let Dak walk out the building come next March? What a colossal disaster. Jerry Jones is in a colossal disaster right now. Either pay him 60 or don't pay him. He's leaving. He's leaving. And he'll make more. If Kirk Cousins can make 50, he'll make 60. He'll make 60. Jerry wants Deion's son. I don't think much of that kid. I don't. I don't like his attitude. And win more than 4 games. Okay, Nelson Aguilar wasn't a high draft pick. That didn't work out for us, but he fits perfectly in the Ravens scheme. That's because the Ravens don't throw the ball. Nelson Aguilar was a first rounder? I forgot that. I didn't know that, Prince. I didn't know Nelson Aguilar was a first rounder. I had forgotten that. Was Nelson Aguilar a first rounder? Was he the 16th pick in the draft, Nelson Aguilar? Can somebody help me? Prince is talking about Nelson Aguilar not fitting into a system. What round did he go? Was he down in the bottom first round? I'd forgotten that. I didn't know Nelson Aguilar was a first rounder. 20th? Okay. I didn't remember that. Hey, they don't throw the ball though. How many targets does he get a year in Baltimore? 40? 50? Aguilar was arguably the best player on the Eagles offense aside from Foles in Super Bowl. He stunk though with pretty much his career. And, no, hey, Prince, they don't throw him the ball. They don't throw him Alshon Jeffrey. 45. So look at this. Yeah, Prince is right. Nelson Aguilar does fit in. 20th pick in the draft gets 20 targets. Okay. Hey, I bet he does fit in. Here you go, Prince. The 20th pick in the draft gets 45 targets. But how many catches did he have last year? 20? Oh, my God. So let's finish up Sirianni's high school speech over the weekend. He said Nolan Smith played well. I was like, this guy won't stop lying. He just won't stop lying. Hey, James Bradbury's making your football team. He's making your football team. James Bradbury has made the Eagles. Oh, man. Why don't you just cut the guy? Save yourself $7 million. $4 million against the cap. You have $22 million or $27 million now. Bradbury's making the team. Bradbury is going to be inactive every week. See this right here? Not happening. You know why? You're paying him $11 million. So you're going to pay, you'd rather pay, get this. Let me show you how the real doesn't get football here. Here. So you're going to pay a guy $11 million to not be active when you could have cut him for $4 million against your cap, saving you $7 million in salary. And you're going to pay a guy who's the highest paid The second highest paid player on your defense, and you're going to have him inactive. Solid. Solid. Let me see. Huff, Bradbury, Slay, Gardner Johnson. And you're going to put an inactive guy making $11 million. Not active for. Okay. Why didn't you cut him? You could have freed up a roster spot too. Oof. Bradbury's playing on a defense. He's playing on defense. They're not keeping him on the bench. Some of y'all don't understand how money works. Pete, right on. If you pay him, you play him. You don't sit him. You don't sit him. Get this. Bradbury's getting cut. Okay? You cut Bradbury, so that means you go into the season with only one experienced corner. Is that right? Is that correct? Would you take Ernest Jones? Maybe leaving the Rams. You're not going to pay $10 million a year for him. He wants a new contract from the Rams. You think the Eagles are going to pay him $12 million, $10 to $12 million? Right. John goes like this, Rodgers. You trying to tell me you think Rodgers is experienced at corner? Where's that? What are you talking about? How's Rodgers, John? An experienced corner. He was a special teams guy in Indianapolis. What are you talking about? Keely Ringo? What? You have no so if you get rid of him, the only experienced cornerback you have is Slay, really. Who else? JM, who else has experience? The guy didn't play last year. He did some good things with the Colts. I know. But has he started 17 games or 16 games as a corner? I don't remember that. What experience do you have at the cornerback spot? You're going to go into Green Bay against cornerbacks. Steels, they're going to get experience sitting on the bench at some point. They got to play. Like I told Xander and I told you, if you guys compromise losing and you're okay with it early to be better late, I'm all right with that. But you got to have a lot of patience and you got to have a coach that's going to be able to take the slings and arrows, because if that team goes 1-3 and your offense looks good and your defense is getting worked over, but you see improvement, you're going to have to bite the bullet and wait till that thing matures. The record that you think you're going to get is not going to be anywhere near it. But you could be playing like a 14-win team by the end of the year if you do this right. Here, somebody asked a question earlier. Sills, how can we make our defense better? Well, your offense can. No 3-and-outs. Long sustained drives. Long as Barkley's back is good. Okay. Oh, hey, Prince, I must have. No. What other cornerback outside of Bradbury has played significant time at cornerback with game experience? Who? I must have missed it, Prince. Who? Outside of Bradbury and Slay? Tell me, Prince. I must have missed it because hey, help me out on my research. Who? I must have missed it. Ringo has experience playing corner. You call what that guy did last year experience at corner. Who's Eli Rogers? Rogers does. All these guys have limited experience. That's all limited experience. Avonte Maddox is in the slot. Hit the like button. When you make a comment, try to be factual. So here. Nick Sirianni says he really likes the linebacker room. Gardner Johnson hasn't played corner in 2 years. And Nick Sirianni likes the linebacking room. Oh, boy. He was asked about motion, too. And he goes, yeah, it really does a nice job masking some of the things that we want to do this coming season. This guy has no idea what's even going on his own football team. Wow. I mean, every time I listen to him talk, it's just, why do you bring him out there? It's embarrassing, actually. When players see him get in front of the mic, you just must close your eyes. All this is word salad stuff that he has. Freaking crazy. I mean, it's crazy how they, I mean, I listened to it twice because I'm hoping something was going to be said. You know what's funny? I get more out of Vic and Kellen. And Kellen doesn't really say much. 85. I think Jalen will throw 40 passes a game. You'll win 9 games. So hasn't played football in 60 years, but he has experience. You played 3 seconds. F out of here. Hit the like button. You mean Nick, the Howie hand puppet. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that. Appreciate your super chat too, Prince. Appreciate it. Thank you. Completely agree about big physical wide receivers. Across the season, they consistently produce regardless of conditions. How often do you see cold games where little guys with big names not showing up, unless you're in New England? I think Howie has spent $200 million on this offense because he knows they are the best chance they have to allow this defense enough time to grow. Okay, Daniel, that's okay thinking. Get this. Get this. Arthur, Belichick was great at pressers too. No, he was great at winning Super Bowls. You can have a shitty press conference when you win 6 and have 8 rings, Arthur. Bill Belichick can sound whatever he wants when you have 8 rings. You know? And when you coach Brady and Lawrence Taylor, you can sound any way you want in a press conference. Any way you want. Hey, talking about Sirianni and Belichick in the same conversation, holy cow. It's like talking about like cotton candy and a laxative. That's how different they are. Jesus, criminy, man. We're going to take a look at the Green Bay Packers here in a minute. I just thought that the whole thing, man, I mean, they didn't give a shit about wanting to be there. They shouldn't have got off the bus. They shouldn't have got off the bus against Minnesota. Why even go through the motions? Did you see how far the corners and safeties line up on defense? Can't see them on a TV screen. Hey, get this, Troy. Troy, My daughter was watching the game, and then we watched, I think it was the Denver Broncos against the Arizona Cardinals. And we watched them yesterday, I think it was. My daughter, who's a big-time rugby player, goes like this to me. Dad, why were the linebackers for the Eagles so far off the ball and the secondary guys so far back? I go, because they don't have talent. She's like, what do you mean they don't have talent? I go, they don't have the talent to cover those guys. She goes, well, why is Denver so close to the line of scrimmage? Because their backers are better. And they got Patrick Surtain on the back end. She goes, what do you mean? I go, oh, one corner can make an entire difference like that in your entire defense. And if you got a linebacker like the Broncos have that can cover tight ends and hit and fill gaps like he did, you could play closer to the line of scrimmage. And that zone in the middle, the safeties are going to be able to be a team that can cover. Their defense looks a lot better. Plus, Arizona doesn't have much to offer. She didn't understand how the Eagles were playing so far off the ball. I go, it's called too high safety. He knows he doesn't have the talent, so what he does, he's enticing you to stay in a shark swimming pool, hoping that he could take a bite out of you. He's baiting you to go into the middle of the field because that's where he wants you. He doesn't want you on the numbers because that's where explosion plays happen. He wants you in the middle of the field where pursuit is. That's exactly what Vic is doing. Vic knows he doesn't have the linebackers. He barely has the pressure. Right now, going into the season, this is what I've seen. You barely have pressure. Your linebackers are very questionable. And your cornerback play, we'll see. We'll see. Well, Sills, what about Quinion? I don't know. We'll see what he does, how he covers. That's me. I'm Jordan Love. I'm going right at him. Let's find out what he knows, what he doesn't know. He's only been an NFL player for what? 5 months? Let's see what he does. Go after him. You go after youth and people who don't know what they're being asked to do yet. I see Cooper DeJean on the field. I'm going right at that guy. Bryce Huff, I'm running right at him. Nolan Smith, I'll do whatever I want to him. Dude, I could take that guy and put that guy in a square dance. That's what he looked like he was doing out there playing on Saturday. Like he was in a square dance. It was funny to watch. No, listen. Here's the problem that you have with the Eagles in evaluating them. There is no question. You guys have a 13-14 win offense. There is no doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's incorrect. Miami had talent and played the same way. You know why this is scheme? No, it's talent. This is talent. And experience. By the way, Vic got torched too with two good corners, Ramsey and Howard. You're what, are you going to try to tell me the Eagles have better corners than the Dolphins? So fucked up sometimes, Prince. You do not. Green Bay will do the same thing to us that they did to Dallas. Are you going to see a lot of crossing patterns? Tight ends will be wide open. Absolutely. We'll get to the Green Bay Packers. Xander will join us at 3:30. Gary Cobb will join us at 4:30 Eastern from Fox 29. Dome says, Sills, what was Jonathan Gannon's secret for success in 22? Experience? Level of quarterbacks that you played that year? The schedule was one of the weakest in the league. Came off of 4 win. No, not came off of 4, but was one of the weakest schedules. And massive health. You were exceptionally healthy. Okay, get this. See this right here? This is what really makes me crazy sometimes. Packers offensive line sucks. And what, your D-line's great? You gave up 138 yards a game rushing last year, and you were 31st last year in pass defense, and you didn't get anywhere near the quarterback. Where'd you improve? Another year with Jalen Carter? Okay. Dude, that Jordan Davis has got to step up and show us something. Everybody wants love. We always give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't give anybody the benefit of the doubt, especially in football. Who are you? I don't need to give Mahomes the benefit of the doubt. No, Mahomes earns the benefit of the doubt if he has a bad game. Seals, for this defense to grow into a respectable unit, JH will need to have a great grasp of situational football. Check down, under soft coverage, attack the middle to move the change and establish the run. Oh, this whole season's going to be based totally off of what Jalen does. James is right. And get this, James. That's not just a you take. That was Jason Kelsey's take. That was Jason Kelsey's take. C24, this was a scouting report issue on Cooper DeJean when he was at Iowa. He notices it now. Scouting report plays itself out. DeJean is not a corner. I hope they move him to safety. I do think they will too. But then again, wait a minute. Hold on, guys. That's the first game off IR. My point was that he can't play. My point was he won't play week 1. If he does, it'll be on special teams. Okay? I mean, hang in there. Let me get to the Green Bay Packers. He missed all the training. That was the only point, John, I was making. Not that he couldn't play. Okay? Not that he couldn't play. Well, okay. Here's the Green Bay Packers. Once again, see, JB, I don't know what you're talking about. And exactly. Watch this. Calm down. One preseason game. Right. Exactly what my point was. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. That was my point. Big Sales asking, not being sarcastic. Fair enough. How is it fair to judge this defense when we haven't seen them play much? It's not. How can you give something the benefit of the doubt when you don't have a word on it either way, and you know you're less experienced on that side of the ball this year than you've ever been in the last 3 years? Just asking, not being sarcastic either. And multiple positions. You have, look at this. Here, I wrote this down before I get to the Packers. Here, Tony, and I'm not being a dick to you, dude. I promise. Okay? I promise you. Prince, I love Sills, but is dumber than Rock sometimes. Okay. Yeah. Here. It's step-up time. It's step-up time for these guys. Jordan Davis, I'm sick of it. You're either going to be a dude or you're going to be a great player. You're not a great player right now. Stop blowing up who this guy's not. He's not a great player. Does he have great talent? I don't care about his great talent. I care about production. He's not productive. And you know what I mean by productive for him? He doesn't have to make a ton of tackles or sacks. He's just got to be effective in the run game. And he wasn't. He wasn't. So it's time, kid. 13th pick. It's time. Nakobe Dean. I don't know what else to say. I'm going to say very little. I have no faith in you. I've seen a little bit. It looks a little better. But you know, my big thing is with him too. He won't last. He has shown one thing for sure. He gets hurt. There's no question. His frame and his body makeup have stunted his growth as a player. You know why? He's always hurt. Always. It's time to do something. Dude, Nolan Smith. I mean, it's time to step up, son. I mean, you know, you're the 30th pick in the draft. I mean, dude, Jordan Davis has shown more. For sure. I've seen nothing that makes me say he can play ball. By the way, I'm not bringing up any of the rookies this year. I haven't seen them play yet, so I don't know. Jason goes, Nolan Smith hasn't had reps. Even in practice, he hasn't. You know why? He hasn't earned them. Hey, Tyler Steen was drafted in the 3rd round to be the starting right tackle, or guard, I mean, to take over for Isaac Seumalo. I don't know. They're going to need him in depth. Lost his starting job because he was hurt. It's part of playing ball. Part of playing ball is health. Tyler Steen gave a starting job away because he couldn't stay healthy. Okay. How about this one here? This may shock you. Hey, Kenny Gainwell. He's had really a nice camp. He's in a contract year. Eagles like him. Kellen Moore looks like he likes him. He reminds me of Tony Pollard and how Pollard was using the Kellen Moore offense. Barkley thinks the world of him. Didn't realize how strong he was. Hey, Kenny Gainwell, you step your game up a big-time game here, Eagles might just give you a contract that's compatible for them and you and keep you in Philly. Got a chance here. Step up and be not just a guy, a dude. Because right now he's a dude. He's Boston Scott who was just cut by the Rams. He's probably better than him. Okay? Milton Williams. Hey, you want $20 million? $15 million? Whatever. I don't care if it's in Philly or New York. I'm going to go out and play my ass off this year. By the way, I have a gigantic sign for sale on my chest if I'm Milton Williams. Whether the Eagles sign it, they buy it, whether someone else does, I'm getting paid. If Milton Williams puts 60 tackles up and 6.5 sacks like Fletcher had, he's going to get paid. Probably not in Philly, but he's going to get paid. And if that guy outplays Jordan Davis, that's an indictment on Davis. If he outplays him, I'm going to have a gigantic for sale sign on me. No doubt. Hey, Isaiah Rodgers, I've heard a lot about you. I really think the Eagles really wanted to wait a year for you after your gambling charge, and they did. Seems to be a lot of love for you. You're not the most physical guy on the planet, but then again, now that you've taken the hip drop tackle out of how you're going to get wide receivers on the ground now, I'm not sure that matters any longer in today's NFL. I'm not sure that matters. It's covering dudes. That matters. I'll tell you what, Isaiah Rodgers is set up for today's NFL than he was for 10, 15 years ago NFL. He couldn't play in the NFL 10, 15 years ago because you had to be a physical corner. Now you don't. You don't have to be a physical corner. Gardner Johnson, last 2 years, 34 games, he's played 15. This guy's made a mountain of money. He made $16 million off of 2000. And the rest of it has been marginal. Injuries and marginal. Played a few games last year, got paid $7.5, $8 million. Now he's making $8 million now. He's made $16 million off those 6 sacks or 6 interceptions in 22. He's played 15 ball games in 2 years. I don't know. He's missed half the games. He's going to have to show us he can stay healthy. Hey, Grant Calcaterra. I don't know, man. They need a number 2 wide tight end. And I don't think you're it. You don't have to be a great pass catcher. And you don't have to be a great blocker. But you got to be able to do both, being a number 2 tight end. You got to be able to do both. Right? I mean, and then non-player. Time to step up, Nick. You know how Nick can win his team and the fans back? You know how he can do it? Just show some patience. And don't be so stupid at the podium. You know, what's his name says perfectly that Bill Belichick doesn't have a good press conference. You know the one thing that Nick does that, or you know the one thing that Belichick does that Nick can't do? Belichick gives you the same answer for 25 years. And we're on to Cincinnati. We coach, they play. Got to coach better, got to play better. On to Cincinnati. Coach, what happened? Well, we got to coach better. Coach, what happened over here? We got to play better. What happened over here? He got hurt. I'm not the doctor. I'm the coach. You can talk to the medical people. Any other questions? Coach, you ever think about making it? We just got to coach better and play better. And Nick give you some stupid-ass diatribe and some word salad answer, and you're like, you don't owe the media and you don't owe the pit anything. You don't owe Jeff McMullen anything. You don't have to have them like you. It's not important to go out of your way for the media to like you. Who cares? Their job's to cover you, not like you. I don't get some coaches sometimes with that misnomer. I don't care if John McMullen likes me or not if I'm the coach of the Eagles. He covers the team. He's got a job. I got a job. I'm not looking to be your friend. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, I don't care. How does that have anything to do with doing your job? It's nothing to do. I mean, I said Jeff McClain. Stop fan coaching. Don't know what you're talking about. I don't think you're talking to me. I mean, I don't care at all if the media likes Nick Sirianni. That's nothing to do with it, Nick, but he goes out of his way. Because you know why he does that? Nick goes out of his way because he hopes they'll write nice columns about him and be nice to him at press conferences and say nice things about him. Who cares? They'll say nice things about you when you win, and they'll turn on you in a Philly second when you lose. Do you not get that? It's so dorky. But then again, that's Bob Lang and his henchmen that make it so like that. It's important for Nick to be liked. By who? I don't even care if the team likes him. Dude, let me tell you something, Nick. Jimmy Johnson coaching a team, it had no bearing on whether or not he liked you or you liked him. He was bringing you in because you were his type of player, and that's all you needed to know. And he coached you. He wanted you. You were there because he liked you and thought you could bring something to his team. That's it. The fact you're in his building and on his roster was all you needed to have. All that other stuff, you better win. You better be on time, and you better be in shape. Other than that, we'll find out what kind of talent you have. Had nothing to do with liking. This organization knows how bad they messed up with Shane. Got to Indy. If they could do it all over again, Shane would be the coach right now, and Nick would be out of a job. Bubba, I'm not sure about that. Bubba, let me ask you a question here, Bubba. Let's do this. Nick's here. Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. What style of coach, Bubba, do you think the owner and the GM prefers to work with? Doug Peterson or Nick Sirianni? Who do you think they enjoy working, and what style do you think the owner and the GM enjoy working more with? Nick style or Doug style? Green says Nick. Eagle says someone they can control. Nick, because he's a yes man. Okay. See what I'm saying, Bubba? By the way, please hit the like button. Thank you, Twiz. You see what I'm saying here? Bubba, it has everything to do with being able to work with the style of coach you want. Okay? M. Reyes goes, who gives a shit? Doug needed to be canned for his shitty decisions anyway. So M. Reyes doesn't think that Nick Sirianni's shitty decisions last year that derailed the football team and imploded a football team a year ago and drove the quarterback's numbers into 15 turnovers and firing of coordinators in the middle of the season, and all of that imploded a 10 in 1 year deserved to be fired. But Doug will win you a Super Bowl, and the general manager was undermining you and sabotaging a roster. He did. Okay. Thanks, M. Reyes. He sure did. M. Reyes, hell of a take. Hell of a take. Nick didn't put the pen to paper for these people. No idea what you're talking about. Nick who? Oh, that Nick. Every day, Nick hate. Howie hate. New hate for Dotson. Dean hate. Nick hate? I hate that coach, yes. Howie hate. I hate the way Howie Roseman drafts on defense. Yes. Dotson, know your role, son. You don't like it? JB, it's a you thing. It's intentional to filibuster a press conference. I think it's important for a great head coach just to go, well, let's just move on. Crazy. Here, get this. Hey, folks, M. Reyes says this. He says that I'm going to blame Nick for Hurts' issues. Who do you blame then? He said it was his offense. All year long, he said it was his offense. Supposedly, he's the one that recommended Brian Johnson. The front office decisions. Wait a minute. I'm confused here. You don't blame. So why then is the quarterback and the head coach having to mend their relationship? Why is that being reported? That they didn't get along? You're making shit up, guy. You're making shit up. All right. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We're also going to talk a little bit later on at the top of the hour of the Green Bay Packers of 2024. Gary Cobb will join us at 4:30 Eastern. Where are we right now on the like list? Guys, please hit the like button. You've absolutely killed it. And I so appreciate it. Thank you guys a lot, man. We'll get more of an insight, too, on what all the injuries to the team. 157. Well done, guys. Let's kick it up. Let's see if we can get to 200 by the top of the hour here. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Sills National Football Show. How'd you like to have Trey Lance on your roster with 5 picks? Holy cow. I watched the Cowboys play. He didn't make a ton of shitty plays, but 5 picks versus 2s and 3s. Dude, he ran around like a crazy guy, made some completions. You gave up 3 1s for that dude. 3 first-round draft choices for that guy. God bless it. 5 picks in a preseason game. I mean, hit the like button, guys. Thank you, guys. I mean, holy cow. I mean, Brock Purdy is the last player taken in the draft. That guy had 3 first-rounders wrapped around his name and is a first-rounder himself. Get this, and I put on my Twitter page, X count, Dan Sileo show. Hey, all you San Francisco 49er guys who are telling me that Trey Lance is the future, my Venmo's connected. You could start sending me the money because I bet many of you $100 he'd never make it. I'm like, oh, thank God for Brock Purdy because John Lynch don't look as awful, but man, he was just absolutely shitty there. By the way, I got to thank the good folks over at the Football Writers Association of America. Big Sills once again has the National Football Show, and you, as one of the voters on every single award, all the All-American teams, also including the Heisman Trophy. So this year, you guys are voting on all of that. And I'll read you some of the names that are on this list. Tony Barnhart, Michael Bishop. I think he played with Barrett Brooks at K-State, Hall of Famer. Keith Byers, Hall of Fame class, Ohio State. Let's see here. Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman winner. Let's see here. Don McPherson, Syracuse Hall of Famer. Phil Steele does a great publication. Reggie Williams, Dartmouth Hall of Famer. Chris Zorich. And look at this, National Football Show. Right there, National Football Show. Congratulations, guys. You guys get a chance, and the show votes on every single major college football award because I'm a member of the Football Writers Association of America. So we're going to be voting on the Heisman, and I'm going to put my Heisman vote in your hands, and we'll do a poll when the Heisman comes up, and I get my Heisman vote. I haven't voted on the Heisman in a bit. I think the last guy I voted for was probably maybe it was Manziel. I haven't voted on that in a bit. So again, hit the like button here, guys. We appreciate it. Don't forget, Gary Cobb is going to join us also at 4:30 Eastern from Fox 29. Let me say this to you, too. Look, I think they did a lot of work. I think they worked hard in the preseason. I think they put a lot more work in. I'm not saying that. I just don't think that you got quality reps. And I'm not going to sit here and give kudos to somebody telling me that they did well in practice until you put it out on the field. Explain this one to me. Honest to God, we did this last week. So the Chiefs played 2 of the 3 preseason games with a guy who's chasing down history. And he played a quarter and a half in each game in Mahomes. And he's going for a 3-peat. And the Eagles say, well, like Nick said over the weekend, hey, I'm good with the practice. Even though he regretted it at a press conference, he said, at the end of last year. And he was even confronted on it. And he goes, well, once again, he was told something different. Here, Now, look, again, one thing is for sure. The last exhibition game, I'm not looking for really a lot. I'm just looking at you kind of cared. And you went out with energy. And you played to your fundamentals and techniques. Saw none of that. Let's bring in the co-host of Birds 365, our friend Xander Kraus. You guys are doing a spectacular job covering the National Football League. John does a great job. You see the videos that we post over at the website and over on our YouTube channel, so you guys get a chance to see all that content. Xander, your takeaway from that Minnesota game?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot to take from that one, Big Sills, other than I agreed with your tweet. It looked like they didn't even get off the bus down there, or it was at the link, but not much to take away from it. It seems like it's a collective across the NFL that just nobody gives a shit about these games anymore. I don't even know why they have them, and they're charging these people full parking to go down there and stuff. It's laughable, but at the end of the day, somebody's got to do it. I think sooner rather than later, they will do away with at least the third preseason game. So it was a big nothing burger. Cooper DeJean looked meh. I got blasted on the weekend show for saying that I didn't think he looked that good.
Yeah, but Xander, wait, I don't think you're ripping him.
I'm not ripping him.
Look, this is what I
did. Looked like, though. He didn't look like an exceptional talent. He looked like a rookie that just got back from injury, that just took the field for the first time.
Correct.
That's what he looked like to me.
But people think that's hating.
Yeah, that's true. But I think he was the lowest rated defensive player on the field.
Here, but see, Xander, what people will take is, relax. It's his first exhibition game. That's my point. You guys are trying to tell me he was going to start week 1 against Green Bay. This guy's not going to be a factor on that team for at least the third or after the bye.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
Dude, it's not a rip. He missed all of training camp. That's exactly what he should have looked like.
Yeah, I'm not ready to rip him. I'm just saying, yeah, he didn't impress me.
I don't think anybody is.
He didn't impress me. Nolan Smith didn't impress me either. He's a guy that's a first-round draft pick. He's playing longer than every other defensive end on the team, and he barely doing anything out there. So, yeah, he's a guy we're going to have to start to question. You know, you got to look yourself in the mirror every once in a while. Eagles fans love to criticize Dallas and Mozzie Smith and all the other first-round draft picks across the league that don't pan out. Well, this guy's a first-round draft pick going on year 2 here, and he does not look good. So hopefully we can get something from him, but he didn't look too good to me.
How about this? I see more out of Jalen Hunt.
Yeah, me too.
Than I do out of this dude. I mean, I'm watching the kid Jalen Hunt going, is this kid going to have a better year than Nolan Smith?
It's possible, Sills. It's a hot take at this point, but it's possible.
I'm like, holy shit. And they played him 3 quarters too, dude. I mean, hey, they want, and that's the right thing to do, is get him as many reps as possible. Because, hey, that's the only time he's going to see action because, dude, there's no doubt Josh Sweat's starting on the other side of Huff. There's no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I don't think that was ever a question, though.
Well, the depth charts I saw at first had Nolan out there. And I was like,
no chance.
I don't.
There's not a chance that happens.
Okay, I wrote these guys up. I wrote this down. I wrote, it's time for step up time. And hey, by the way, before I do that here, Eagle player most to prove in 2024.
Eagle player with the most to prove in 24. Yeah. Ooh, there's a couple good ones, but is the obvious one Jalen Hurts?
I think Jalen Hurts could go back and have a 2022 season and get to the NFC title game.
And potentially get in the MVP race and shut up a lot of people who've been criticizing
23 touchdowns and 9 picks and like 3,800 yards, and still the team wins 14 games, but not big. No, yeah, look, all he has to do is turn turnovers down.
All right, so no, so he's not the one with most to prove them for you. So, is it Jordan Davis?
Nope.
You have one guy here on this?
I have one guy.
Bryce Huff?
Nope.
All right, who you got?
Barkley.
Nah.
I think they're relying on him more than you think.
I don't know
Because
about
here,
that, man.
if you can't run the ball early, you're done.
Nah, that's not going to be their philosophy, though.
Okay, well, then guess what? You're going to go some 3 and outs, and you're going to put your defense in a hole, and you're going to be behind the sticks if you do that. You need to control the clock and field position, at least in the first 4 games, because, Xander, if you have a couple series where you go 3 of 4, where you go 3 and outs, you'll be down 20 points to the Packers by then. You can't surrender field position. My thinking for the Eagles early on, if you get a 10-3 lead and you get to halftime like that, you're going to roll them. Because, again, you're going to wear them down. Barkley's got to be a factor in that. Look, 14-play drive, 10-play drive. Dude, you can't throw the ball 40 times and win 10, 13, 14 games. That's not who you were in 22.
I hear you, Sills, and what you're saying sounds great to me. But I think Bubba hit the nail on the head here. Bubba must be a longtime Eagles fan. This team plays pass to get a lead and run to keep it. That's their philosophy. That's what Jeffrey Lurie wants. So I hear you. I think Saquon does have a role. I just don't think it's the role.
It should be reversed.
No, because
you need one to keep the clock in the field position on your side, and then throw when it opens up more for you.
Yeah, well, for a tight game, no doubt about it. But this team wants the closeout running back that can control the clock late in games when they already have a lead. And they're going to bank on the passing offense getting them that lead early. I see what you're saying. What you're saying is a traditional old school style of football that has worked for many, many, many years. Most of the league has gotten away from that. I do still think there is a big role for it in the NFL, but I don't think the Eagles are going to use Barkley like that.
That's how Kansas City won.
Yeah, but you
Kansas
think they're
City won with Pacheco?
So you think they're going to take their $12 million running back and the guy who's gotten over 2,000 carries in his career since college, and they're going to run the shit out of him in the first 4 games of the year early on in the game?
Why'd you give him $10 million then? If you're just going to have him back there as a decoy.
I don't know why they gave him $10 million, but my projection for how they would use that player would not be early in games, early in the year. It would be later in games on a lighter workload, on a snap count early in the year, and start to unload him as you get through after Thanksgiving. That's what my projection would be. I don't know what they're going to do. We've been debating it all summer how the hell they're going to use Saquon Barkley. I don't know exactly how they're going to use him, but I don't expect him to come out and run the ball 25 times with them in game 1 in Green Bay. That's for sure. Or in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
85 says Belichick will be the coach next year if we fail. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
I don't know. I really don't. Well, again, it's just it's kind of funny though, man. Okay, so you pay a guy $20 million or $10 million and you're not going to use him?
They're going to use them. I just don't think they're going to use them early and often like you're suggesting they should.
Oh, so they're going to go into this game in 7 days, not having practiced the passing game in game situations at all. Just start throwing the ball around the room like they're out there throwing and trying to impress ESP from WIP and keeping stats like that. And that's how they're going to go about trying to beat the Packers.
Listen, it's possible. It's possible. Wait. Look, I get it. The first team starters haven't gotten any reps. How many series did Jordan Love and the Packers starting guys
play? 2 games. They played, but they played. They at least got in there and they worked on communicating. They worked on the new Josh Jacobs being out there. They worked on a little – dude, those little nuanced things, those are like Phil Simms says. Those are quality, high-rep plays. I'm not talking about scores, Xander. I'm talking about being in a game situation. What did Vic Fangio say about those practices? They're not football. They're teaching tools. That's not real football that we're all counting on. Well, you know what? They look good in practice. I wonder what Iverson would think of that. Practice. That's what you're talking to me about, Xander Krause? Practice?
Listen, I hear you, but I just don't know how they're going to use them. And maybe I got John McMullen in my head telling me that that's not how they're going to use Saquon Barkley.
John McMullen's the one telling you motion doesn't matter either.
Well, John, that's an opinion.
And that's why they practice.
No. There's a difference. There's a difference between those two subjects, though. The motion point from John is an opinion of John's. His take on Saquon Barkley is not his opinion. It's what he believes as a reporter who's been covering the team since 2014 of how they're going to deploy that asset. Perhaps I've been jaded by what he said about it, but I don't anticipate them coming into Green Bay and running early and often with Saquon Barkley.
I would listen to John. I would just disagree that that's the way to go about it.
Oh, well, he might disagree with that being the way to go about it. Sometimes he has to differentiate whether he's giving an opinion or reporting on what he believes the team is going to do. So, look, we don't know. Saquon Barkley to me is a big question mark, and that's why I didn't even consider him for the most approved this year, because I don't know what he's going to be trying to prove in this offense. I don't.
So let's do this. If Barkley's injured and he can't play, and you got to run the season with Kenny Gainwell back there,
I think you're going to be fine.
You're going to be fine with play action? Yeah. So wait,
I think you're going to be fine with Gainwell if Barkley goes out. I really do.
Oh my God! So wait a minute. So wait, Barkley Gainwell? Barkley's not that much of an upgrade over Kenny Gainwell, is what you're saying?
No, I guess that's how it sounds. This team does it. Look, we went from Miles Sanders to DeAndre Swift. Like, they don't care that much about the running back. I don't know why they went and signed.
Oh, it's not much of an upgrade then. You just paid him more.
It's not that I don't think he's an upgrade. It's that I don't think they're going to use him in a way that would show he's a massive upgrade from the guy who just had 1,200 yards and Miles Sanders who had 1,200 yards.
I'm just going to do one more time this last one. Then why the fuck did you give him $10 million?
I didn't give him shit. I wouldn't have signed Saquon Barkley. I said that early.
Shit, you're giving Saquon jerseys away. Shit, you better hope this guy gets 100 yards.
And everybody in the chat better hope I'm dead wrong on the guy, and I hope I am too. But I don't know. I wouldn't have. That's not how I would have used my free agency money. That's not what I would have done, is went and signed a running back with this offense. But
if you had to sign somebody, what would you have done with money if you had to sign somebody?
Defense, Sills. I would have signed a linebacker and a
linebacker. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with CJ Gardner-Johnson. I would have went for a bigger guy there, but I like what they did at cornerback. That's why I haven't criticized it at all. Listen,
I would have signed Brian Burns.
Oh, that would have been a great move. That would have been a great move. I would have loved that.
Hey,
yeah, look, I just wanted to put him at. I have no problem with them spending a little bit more money on offense. Maybe it would have been a guard. Somebody, I don't know. There's still maybe a tight end too. I would have been all right with it. I just didn't think you needed the splash running back when you got the production from the two guys we've had in the past. Or if you did go that route, I don't love the guy that thrives in a dual threat type of running back role when we have Jalen Hurts. Now, maybe Hurts is going to check it down more this year with Kellen Moore. He's showed that he's doing that more in practice, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have went with Barkley. I like him. I'm happy he's here.
Okay, who do you think, in your opinion, has the most to prove?
I think those two guys on defense, the youngsters, I think Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, I think both of them have a lot to prove. I think everybody sees the potential in those two guys, but potential is one thing. Living up to it and doing it on the football field is another thing. I think he has a lot to prove this year. I think Bryce Huff has a ton to prove. The guy was paid like an elite edge rusher in the league. He hasn't really ever been one. I think he has a ton to prove this year. I think Nolan Smith, but I don't think he's going to prove it, so I've almost crossed him off the list. I think Nakobe Dean coming into year 3 has a lot to prove. I think Jalen Hurts, the quarterback one of the team, the former MVP caliber player, I think he has a lot to prove this year.
It's a 13-win team, and you got all this to prove?
Well, there's everybody. Look across the NFL, man. Joe Burrow has a lot to prove coming off an injury. I think Josh Allen has a lot to prove, having never put his team over the top. Everybody has a lot to prove in the league. Dan, the better you get, the higher paid you are, the more you have to prove every year. That's how it works. Jalen Hurts has the most to prove because he's getting $51 million. Go out there and prove it. So I don't think that's a knock to say he has a lot to prove. I think it's a good thing.
What do you make of this Dotson kid?
Dotson?
Yeah. What do you make of it? Let me before you answer.
Sills has got me in a little rhythm right now where he's like, let me get him going negative.
Hey, let me this guy here was he goes like this. He was asked about his weakness. I really don't have one. I'm got to get the playbook down, and I'm sitting there listening to this, and I went back and listened to his comments, and I'm like, so you were just traded, 18 months after you were the 16th pick in the draft in the division, and you think you don't have anything to work on and you have this? Dude, I might want to have been a little humbled that, hey, that somebody thought that I was the 16th pick, that in a matter of a year and a half, they dump you. I mean, what do you make of this kid?
He didn't seem to care too much, did he?
No.
No, he didn't seem to care. Well, look, I think part of it is he knows he's coming to an offense where there's a lot of guys in front of him the defense has to worry about. That might make his job a whole lot easier. I think it will make his job a lot easier. And the expectation is now completely removed from the player. So it sounded like a guy who felt like there was weight lifted off his shoulders, because there was, and not everybody wants that weight. And maybe Dotson didn't want that weight. Maybe he's happy being a third on a team that's got a bunch of other. Well, a third.
What option do you think he's going to be in that offense?
He's 6. I already ran through it several times.
He's the 6th. The
16th. You got Brown. You got Smitty, Brown, Smith, Saquon, Dallas Goedert, and then I'd say Jalen Hurts in the running game is an option before Dotson. And then you got Dotson. And then you got tight end 2 at 7.
He goes, I was really shocked that was Delton. He goes like this. Yeah, they told me they really liked me and respected me. And I was like, Hoss, let me tell you, honey, nobody likes you and respects you when they trade you in a division 15 months after making you the 16th pick in the draft. I mean, hey, they told me they liked me and respected me. They traded you to a division foe and an enemy in the division because they like you and respect you. No, they don't. They don't give a shit about you.
They don't give anything.
They don't think anything.
They don't give a morsel of a shit about that guy to trade him.
Once again, though, Xander, you have to say this. In the role he's coming in, as long as he knows that role, then guess what? The Eagles got over on this. But now that I'm looking at that third pick, this is the better of – I looked it up too. This is the better of the third pick because they had 2 3s. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the other part about the draft pick, though, because I've been critical of, like, do you want to send a third-round pick for a depth guy? But when you're a Super Bowl team or you believe you're a Super Bowl team, you don't hoard third-round picks for the future. And I think that's the right philosophy. So whether we like the trade or not, I think Howie's fine to make that move. The more I think about it, honestly, the more it makes sense. I mean, we're going for a Super Bowl. What do you care more about, the third-round pick next year or having the guys in the room to go and win a Super Bowl this year? So I don't want to make too much of the third-round pick. Maybe I even did a little bit too much last week when talking about the move, but I'm just not that impressed with the player. But he's going to solve why he was brought here. He's going to solve the problem he was brought here to solve. And that's some depth at the wide receiver room. That's being able to move AJ and Devontae around on the offense. And if one of those guys goes down, you have a guy that can play on the outside. I don't know how good he is on the outside, but at least you have a guy now. So I think that's why he was brought here and they made the move. And that's what Howie wanted to do with the third rounder. And that's what he ended up doing. And it might be all right.
Who is the head football coach of the St. Joe's Preparatory School in Philadelphia?
It's I forget his
Roken.
name, man. Yeah, Tim Roken. He's a great guy. He was there when I was there. He was the assistant under Gabe Infante. He's now the head coach, doing a great job.
I think he's better at a microphone than Nick Sirianni is at
Why did he do something?
No. When I'm just that high school speech of his over the weekend here, telling me how good his linebacker room was. Nolan Smith played well. What was the other bullshit comment he made? What was this? I love my linebacker room.
Sills, wait. You realize there's articles now coming out in Philadelphia newspapers about that high school program being too good. They've taken over this.
Them. I'm saying
I know. I'm giving you some context though on them as a team, that they're that dominant. An article came out last week in the Philly Mag that the government in PA needs to step in and break up the St. Joe's Prep football powerhouse because they've gotten too good.
I love that. Hey, nothing like a great Catholic high school dominating football. I'm
Yeah,
all good
baby.
with that, baby.
Yeah, baby.
The trade is a huge upgrade from Queasy Watkins. I don't know, man. They both sound like the same fish. Now, all of our receivers can move around, which is true, and everywhere. The threat alone of all these guys makes us uncoverable. I understand the logic, Big Sil.
Uncoverably, man.
Yeah, I totally do too.
Jason, we got to shout Jason out, man. That's a good one. It's a good comment. I do think it's an upgrade from Quez Watkins, from Queasy, as Sills used to call him.
Yep,
Queasy
Watkins.
But Jason also gifted out 5 memberships to the channel. So, Jason, thank you, man, for your support of the channel today. We appreciate that very much, man. One of our best watchers. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jason was the guy who had the wrench pulled. Sills. He got a wrench.
Really?
I believe so. He might have to get a wrench back, but I think it was either Jason or another J name in the chat. I forget, but Jason, thanks for the support today, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. All right, Xander, I wrote these names down. The Big Sil step-up dudes. Okay?
Yeah, let's hear them. Did you do this in the opening hour? I was working on some other
I did.
stuff. Okay.
Okay.
I'm curious to hear them. I didn't hear them all.
Here are my step-up guys. I got Jordan Davis, number 1. Come on, dog. I mean,
yeah.
Come on. I mean, you're either going to be a dude or you're going to be a player that's going to be. And by the way, I don't need to see a shitload of stats. I just need to see you be effective in there, stopping the run and wreaking havoc in the middle. I mean, look, man, Vince Wilfork knows. Dude, if you're Vince Wilfork, you have a shot at being a dominant player for a decade and helping your football team. Hey, guess what, too, man? Who was that one dude, man, that eats like a slot? Hollis Thomas. Okay? Hollis Thomas never put up gigantic numbers, but you know what he was? He was a force against the run, and inside, he was a really good ball player, man. Corey Simon, too. Those guys are all good inside, man. He's got to be in that conversation.
Dan, Jordan Davis is about to wreak havoc on the NFL this year.
All right.
That's a hot take. He is about to wreak havoc on NFL offensive lines. They are not going to know who to block on defense when they're trying to get in front of, or on offense when they're trying to block Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith. I think Jordan Davis is a big year this year. I really do.
On Sunday, my wife has a tradition that she likes to make, and it's with Jimmy Dean sausage, and it's like biscuits and gravy. And every time, we get the Jimmy Dean out, I don't know why I think of Jakobi Dean. And I'm squeezing that tube of like sausage, and I'm going like, my wife goes, "Why are you laughing?" I go, "Well, this is how this guy looks and plays." Like I'm squeezing sausage out of this tube here. I go, "Hey man, come on, son. Here we go." And you know what? Because he practiced well. He got a little better in games. But dude, here's my problem with him. As much as he's going to be, and if he does improve, he won't make it, man. He's just not a healthy guy.
Sean Davis is getting this option, my friend.
No way.
Don't let the Sillsisms get in your head. I guarantee you.
You're paying him 20.
I 100%.
You hear that, Sean?
Wait. If they don't,
how he's going to pay him $20 million?
If they don't pick up the option, it'll be because he's already extended and they worked it into the deal, just like they did with Devontae Smith. They will absolutely keep Jordan Davis here in Philly. Flexen, you can say it all you want. They will be keeping Jordan Davis right here in the city of brotherly love.
Bullshit. They ain't paying him $20 million.
Yeah, they are.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll talk about it on the show when the news breaks.
Never happened. All right, here's another one. Nolan Smith. I mean, come on, son. Let's go here, man. I mean, dude, look at this. Jordan Davis, Jakobi Dean, and now Nolan Smith. I cannot believe Georgia won a national title with these guys.
Nolan Smith will be gone from this team within 2 years. He's done. He's not going to live up to it. He doesn't look like it at all. I think he's gone within 2 years. I think he might be gone at season's end. It'll be this time next year. We'll be talking about. We'll have been talking about that. Well, either that or he'll be on the trade block in the offseason, and we'll be talking about it in June and July, just like we were with Bradbury this year or all the other dudes who we were waiting to go. I think he could be a guy that if he doesn't show anything this year, he's gonzo. Dunzo.
What if Jalen Hunt gets 6 sacks this year? This guy gets 3. Could this guy be in hot water by the end of the year?
The problem with that is I think Patrick Johnson is played so well in camp so far that I believe Patrick Johnson's going to have a chance, and they're probably going to put him in real game time situations before they put Jalen Hunt in, because I do think Jalen Hunt has to hone his craft a little bit more. I do see good potential with him, but I think he's going to have to hone his craft, and I think Patrick Johnson is a guy that I think you'll like, Sills. He's a guy that was picked late in the draft. He's really revamped his body. He's totally rebuilt his body. And he's looked good so far in the preseason and camp. So we'll see if he makes the 53 here. I think he should be making it though.
Tyler Steen, you've got to show us you're the 3rd pick. You're a 3rd round pick, and get this: they need depth. Is this not a concern? Wait a minute. Is this not a concern? Depth in the O-line?
Oh, it definitely is. And you can tell by the Eagles' moves that they have concern as well. They signed Sharping. Matt Hennessy. He's another guy that is going to be on the outs right now. They have plenty of dudes right now that haven't lived up to it, and that's why there's been so much movement there. Now, I do think they have some good young guys. I like that Trevor Keegan. I think he's going to be a good piece for this team, but, add Tyler Steen to the list of guys that are done. I don't think he has any role in this team in the future.
Andre Dillard room?
I think he is done. I think after this year, maybe they'll keep him through his contract just for depth, just as a guy in the back, but
and money.
He's not ever going to be a legitimate first team guy on this football team.
Trevor Keegan, in your eyes, in my eyes, has already taken that job.
I think Trevor Keegan looked better than him already. Yeah.
Oh,
and you didn't see too much of Steen, but when you do see him, he's not a real impressive offensive lineman. He doesn't impress you at all. Last year he played versus the Cowboys. He looked brutal in that game. Remember, this is a Bama guy too, and I'm a Bama guy, so I'm trying not to rip the guy, but at this point he's hard to not rip, and I think his time in Philly will come to an end without him ever making a tangible impact on the team.
Another 3rd rounder bites the dust. How you doing, Howie?
Right. Sills, look across the league. Every team's got 3rd rounders that are biting the
greatest general manager in the history of the National Football League, according to all you guys in Philly.
Jalen Hunt's a 3rd rounder.
What?
Jalen Hunt's a 3rd rounder.
I was a 3rd rounder.
Chris says, Sharping already got cut. That's right.
Okay. I got Milton Williams, man. I want to see this kid. He's going to get a chance to have a lot of reps this year, dude. And get this. Like I told you this, I'm going to have a big old sign on me if I'm him. It says, for sale. Any team in National Football League wants Milton Williams. I'm going to get you 6.5 sacks, 60 tackles this year, and I'm going to make between $10 and $15 million. If that's in Philly, great. If it's not, I don't care. I'm for sale right now. Dude, this guy's auditioning for 32 teams, including the one he's on.
Yeah, well,
he's got to step. They're going to need him to be good too, dude.
He might want to consider where he's at too, and taking a team-friendly deal because, listen, hear me out. I think he's a great player. I'm a big fan of Milton Williams. But if he thinks he's going to get signed to another football team after this year and be able to have the same production or better, he's mistaken.
You know what, folks? He's doing the shit to me that organizations do to players, and I hate it, but he's right. Do you get this? The grass ain't greener.
He's got Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and 2
on the other side when someone loves you.
Now, maybe he'll make a few million, and that's what he values, so he could do that. I'm fine with it.
You're not wrong.
I'm just saying, I think he has a chance to be great here in Philly. I think he's a perfect depth piece at defensive tackle and a 3rd. But look, he's got
I hate
Carter,
that talk, but it's true.
He's got Davis. He's got Josh Sweat, Bryce Huff, all these guys, and they're going to be worried about him first. So
what's the most important thing? The organization likes him.
Yeah, they do like him. I like him. I hope that didn't come off that I don't like the player. I think he's a great player.
It is a good take, Jack. It is a good take because you know why? The one thing that you always do is this. When you go to another team and you go to a place that wants to give you more money, I can't tell you how many times in my career that I have fucked that up going to the most money instead of going to a place that was going to make sure you were there for 10 years.
Yeah, well,
I can't tell you how important that is.
Yeah, well, look, I like Milton though. I do think he's a good player. I think he was he a third rounder?
Third rounder.
Yeah, so he's the third rounder that's worked out, and I think he's been so far. He's developed very nicely, and I think he has a chance to have a big year this year.
I got a guy who I need to see step up. I want to see this Isaiah Rodgers kid.
Yeah,
I want to see him. Okay, because here, get this, Xander. You know, you and John brought up the most important thing about the kid, and that is the fact of physicality. Well, guess what? Physicality, what's that got to do with playing safety and playing corner now? What's that got to do with it? He really doesn't have anything to do with it any longer.
There's nothing worse than watching a corner out there who just will not tackle. Oh, my God. It drives me nuts. I know it is. And it's Slay. I mean, it's our number one corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
He tackle at all late in his career now. So I'm not really partial to Isaiah Rodgers. I like him. I think he's going to be a good piece.
He's going to start.
I know he is, but I'd much rather see a guy like Keely Ringo step up and win out that job. And I think he has a bigger upside. I think he's a better player. I think it would serve our organization better for him to step up. But no, I like Isaiah Rodgers. It's a good pick. It seems to be a guy that will work out. And Howie made a good move going and getting him and stashing him on the roster. But we'll see what he can do this year. I
got Gardner Johnson here. And I'll tell you why. I mean, 15 games in the last 34. And, you know, I mean, he's made a ton of money.
And he talks like he's an all-pro number one safety in the league. So he's not. Yeah, he's not at all. So, look, I'm with you. I think he's a guy that has to play big this year. Based on what I've heard, the way he's talking at camp, if he doesn't play big, if I'm in that locker room and I'm Anais Smith, who apparently he roasted publicly at practice, I would chirp back at him so hard, man. But look, that's just the competitive nature in me. He talks a lot, so he better go out there and have a good season. But I don't know. I don't know. I think the fans are high on CJ Gardner Johnson. I get why. He's a playmaking type guy, but you just said it, man. How many games out of 34?
15 in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a lot of games missed. So let's hope he can stay healthy and have a good year this year.
And he's made $16 million in the last 2.
That's all right. I'm not going to pocket count. I mean, I think I'm happy he's getting paid, but
paid for 1 year.
Well, I'm happy he's getting paid if he produces. Go out there and produce,
This might be kind of weird. I got Grant Calcaterra here.
Not a bad one.
They need some production out of that 2-hole tight end spot, man. I mean, when Goddard leaves, it's like a gaping hole in the middle of the offense. That this is maybe another reason why I say Barkley's going to be more of a factor, maybe even why they've got the kid Dotson in the slot, is because when that tight end goes down, their presence in the middle of the field, Xander, is nowhere. Jalen doesn't even attack the middle of the field, and they don't even call plays when Goddard's not in there. So this guy's got to help this year.
I think you skipped a guy, though. I like it. I like Calcaterra. I like that pick for a guy that needs to step up this year. But what about Dallas Goedert? What about tight end 1? I mean, where's he been? Look, and I always get ripped in the chat for saying I think he's slightly overrated.
He is.
I don't think the skill set is overrated. I think he's got tremendous skill, but I don't think he puts it all down. And it's not entirely his fault. I think some of it was the offense last year. It didn't feature him enough. He's a physical guy who gets hurt a lot, which is a knock on him. But I think he's a guy that needs to step up this year. Forget Calcaterra. We need better production from our tight end 1. We need a true tight end 1 that's in the game plan, that's worked onto the field, that the defense has to think about and worry about. And I think that'll do more for our team than anything Calcaterra could do. But I do like Calcaterra. I think it's a good pick by you. He's a guy that has a lot of potential, a lot of talent. My fear with him is he's one hit away from never playing football again. He was one hit away doing it when he entered the league, and he wanted to. That was why I think he waited out a year for the draft, and then he came in, and then he got in the 7th round. So interesting career. I think he played with Jalen Hurts, if I'm not mistaken, in college. I think Calcaterra played with Hurts at Oklahoma.
He's at OU.
I think so, right?
He's an Oklahoma kid.
We'll see. He's a guy that has talent, but let's see if he does anything with it this year, or if the offense calls for it at all.
Well, I really loved what I heard, too, from Jordan Love. Jordan Love was asked a question over the weekend. He goes, we're ready for week 1, man. He goes, whole team's ready. We're ready to rock and roll. We've put our work in. I can't wait to get to Brazil. How do you feel about your Eagles going into week 1?
I think they're going to lose that opening game.
Okay.
I've said that since the jump when the schedule came out. I have the team winning.
So that hasn't changed.
No, it hasn't, because I have the team winning 13 games this year. I think they're going to be a great football team. I think they're going to be better toward the end of the year with the schedule than they are at the beginning of the year. And I think Sao Paulo for us, it's a much tougher swing for us than it is for Green Bay. One, Green Bay is none of the pressure. The national media, everybody's talking about the Eagles. Oh, look at all the guys they have. Look at how Emmanuel Acho, they're going back to the Super Bowl. We have the pressure of that. Jordan Love is upcoming. They have no pressure in that game. It's all on Philly. And we're the home team, and we lose that game versus an NFC playoff contender at the Link.
Yep.
You know how much of a win that is, even mentally, for the Packers? We have to play Philly away this year. That's what they were saying.
And you might have to play a playoff game up there in Lambeau in December.
I know, but I'm saying before the schedule came out, they're thinking we got to go to the Link this year. That's a tough battle with that Eagles. They're like, that's a neutral location. That's a huge win for them. So they got less pressure coming in. They're not playing at the Link. I just think it's a tough swing for the Eagles. I think the pressure is going to be on the Eagles. I think the media campaigns or the media tour is going to be all over the Eagles. I think it bodes better for Green Bay in that game, and I think the Eagles lose week 1. But that's not an indictment on the season. Like I said, I think they win 13 ball games. I think they go on a big run at the end of the year, but they're going to have some things to figure out early in the year for sure, no doubt about it.
You want to hear crazy ass stats since 1992? I know it's a home game for Philly, but Green Bay at home, he's 163, 57, and 2 since 1992. They don't lose in that building up there. So you lose that game and you have to go up to Green Bay and play a home game up there, dude. They don't lose up there in Green Bay in December and January. That's a tough-ass play. And that could be a tiebreaker. You know, it could come down to a tiebreaker with those two between Green Bay and Philly.
Oh, it definitely can. Listen, this is why I love Eagles fans. This is why this show works, Big Sills.
Xander, shut up.
Xander, shut up. Ready?
Come on, Kenny.
Have some confidence. Don't be a schmuck. I love it. Xander, you're the worst. You're not an Eagle fan. You say one loss, Sills, and they're on your – I said they're going to win 13 games, my man.
No way.
I mean, come on.
No way.
But look, that's what makes Philly fans the best. So I appreciate it. I love them.
I can't stand this Brazil thing, though. I hate that the Eagles got
it's a tough situation.
Yeah, I hate they got a home game taken away from the fans, too. Dude, playing in Brazil, it's a neutral site. Fuck that, man. You're playing a road game. You're not playing. That's not a home game.
I know, no doubt.
All right, Xander.
And you're in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So I don't know much about Sao Paulo. I don't know if I want to know too much, but I don't think that's like the London trip. I'll say that.
Absolutely not, man. And when you go to a bar, make sure you keep your hands above the desk because you never know what you might get and what kind of cannoli. Anyway, hey, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Xander, how are we doing in the likes, my friend?
We're up to 211. We might have just lost a couple after I predicted an Eagles loss. The folks are not happy with me. Xander, a Dallas fan. I'm an undercover Packers media. I'm getting the Big Sills treatment today, yo.
Xander's a traitor. Hey, man, you guys are doing a kick-ass job on Birds.
13-4, Sills. 13-4 NFC title game. I'll predict if we win that game when that game comes.
9-8.
9-8?
9-8.
Sills, come on, Sills.
9-8. You don't have a defense. I don't think you have a 13-win defense. No fucking way. Absolutely not, man. You got an offense that the entire team has to be carried on, and that guy's not Peyton Manning. But it's the goodness of the God of Jalen Hurts. I can't wait to see JH, man. This guy's like a superhero in Philly. Seriously, it's like the league, like all those great warriors together, man. I can't wait to see this thing here. All right, Junior. Great stuff as always. Xander, we will catch you in the morning, my friend.
All right, Junior. I'll catch you tomorrow.
That is Xander Kraus. Make sure you catch him with John McMullen, Birds 365. Please hit the like button. Bottom of the hour. Gary Cobb from Fox 29 is going to join us. Hey, don't forget also, Big time college football slate this week. We're going to have the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, Mario Cristobal, on Wednesday at 3:30 Eastern as they get ready for the Florida Gators, one of the big games this weekend there in Gainesville. Hey, Howie, we're coming for you, dog. Hey, Gardner Johnson, we're coming for you. All right? Just remember that. Oh, I'm going to have to tweet Gardner Johnson out. Hey, Gardner Johnson, Canes by 20 this weekend. How you doing? Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys coming aboard here on a Football Monday. ESPN has just released their top 100 football players in the NFL. Here are the top 10. TJ Watt, Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 9, Christian McCaffrey, 49ers. Number 8, Tyreek Hill, Miami Dolphins. Number 7, Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboys. Number 6, Jamar Chase, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 5, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills. How you doing? Hit the like button. Thank you guys, man. That's great. 237. See if we can get this bad puppy up to 300, maybe by the top of the hour. Number 4, Myles Garrett, Cleveland. Number 3, Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings. Number 2, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. And the number 1 player in the NFL is Patrick Mahomes. You want to know where the Eagle guys are ranked? Okay. There you go, Joe. All good. Hey, you want to know where your Eagles are? All right. Highest ranked Eagles on the top 100. A.J. Brown, Philadelphia, number 21. Jalen Hurts, number 32 in the top 100. Josh Allen, number 5. Jalen Hurts, number 32. Okay. Yeah. How you doing? Saquon Barkley, number 48. Lane Johnson, number 72. Number 80 is Devontae Smith. And number 100 is Jalen Carter. Not bad. Eagles 21. A.J. Brown. Hurts is 32. Barkley's 48. Lane's 72. Devontae's 80. And Jalen Carter's 100. This is the top 100 NFL players according to ESPN. Not me. Not me. I don't think I'd have put Lamar 2. I would have put maybe Jefferson second because he's probably the second best player there. I would think. By the way, top of the hour, we're going to talk about the Green Bay Packers. Bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to Gary Cobb here in a couple minutes. Senor's right. Where's the rest of the Bills? They're only counting on the quarterback to get them home. That's right. They don't have to have a $200 million offense for Josh Allen. Oh, no. That's right. Yeah, when you're talking about elite quarterbacks in the NFL today, here's the quarterbacks that their team wins because of. Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Rodgers, and Stafford. Those are the only 6 quarterbacks in the NFL that their team wins because of them. Okay? Their team wins because of them. Lamar Jackson doesn't have anything on that team last year. Nothing. Mahomes just got Juju Smith-Schuster. Wow. Bills are going to struggle. You mean like you did last year, Devin? Or like the Eagles did? With all that talent? They still struggled. Sills talks shit about ESPN, but now loves them. I never said I loved it. I never said I liked the list. Where'd you hear me say that? Bruce, where did you hear me say I like this list? I told you this was ESPN's top 100. Who told you I said I liked the list? Who said that? You made that up, did you not? You just made that up. I never said I liked the list. I agree with you. How's Jamar Chase, number 6? I don't know. God, I don't know. I never at any time said that. Then why are you giggling? Oh, I'm not allowed to laugh that someone that doesn't think shitty your quarterback? Okay. No, hey, this is just another example. I mean, I'm laughing at that. Seals, who you taking, Watt or Parsons? I'm probably taking TJ Watt. I don't like Parsons. I don't. I don't like Michael Parsons' skill set. I don't think he's tough. I think he's a finesse ball player. I agree with you 100%, JK. Lane, 72? I don't think so. I would put Lane Johnson as one of the top 3 offensive tackles in pro football, and that's not number 72. I mean, look, Trent's number 1. Probably Penei Sewell is in there too now, but Lane's in there also. I mean, come on now. Let's be candid here. Lane Johnson, 72nd. Best player. Hey, dude, you know what I got to say too? How about this one? You think ESPN does this shit because they know Eagle fans will look at that list and go, I'm going to piss all over ESPN. And hey, that's probably why I'm laughing. Because if I was an Eagle fan and I saw that list where they put Hurts 32, I'd be like, really? Okay. Okay. You mean you must be talking about your ratings? You must be talking about ESPN's ratings. Number 32. Because there's a better chance that Jalen Hurts is in the top 10 or top 15 than you're in the top 32 in TV ratings. Yeah, Cosmo. Sean McDermott is not the right coach up there for Josh Allen. They need a dude up there like Jim Harbaugh, something like that. Seals, who do you think gets released? Dude, this is going to come down to money. And again, sometimes it comes down to whether or not you keep him 60 line or you keep him 7-0 line. Josh Allen, according to Brady, he's the second best quarterback in the league. And according to ESPN, he's the 5th best. But to you guys, he sucks. Right, I'll go with Brady. I'll hang with the GOAT. Mythical, James. Yes, I do think he stays. Yes, I do. Hey, Andreas, what's Jalen's record versus Tyrod Taylor? 1-1? You're 1-0 versus Allen. Okay, good. Congratulations. And you're 1-1 versus Tyrod Taylor. You're 0-1 versus Drew Lock. Come on, Jason. Come on. Sills, it's ESPN. They definitely always look at the Eagles differently. Yes, they do, Steve. Steve, they look at the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. They hate. Here, Steve, just to give you a little context here. You ready? Steve, they hate the Patriots and they hate the Eagles. ESPN. Always remember that. Remember what Ian O'Connor, who just wrote that book on Rodgers. Remember what he wrote? It was a headline or a book. Bill Belichick, the worst hire in pro football. Hey, wait a minute. Ian O'Connor. I got to show you the headline what he wrote. And here's a guy who just wrote an unauthorized biography on Aaron Rodgers. And this is what he wrote. What was the headline Ian O'Connor wrote when Bill Belichick was hired by the Patriots? Yeah, here it is. It is the worst hire. Here it is right here. Ian O'Connor wrote this, that it will be the biggest regret that Bob Kraft has ever made in his entire life by hiring Bill Belichick. 6 Super Bowls later, 9 appearances, 30 playoff wins. Yeah. Not always a good thing. I'll tell you what, man. I can't wait to get to Gary Cobb. And Gary's got to have a little old school with me, man, because I turned that exhibition game on with Minnesota, and he's got color for it too today. And he's wearing the Minnesota Vikings because he's got to feel like I did. Why'd you get off the bus? I mean, why'd you get off the bus? Gary, why'd you get off the bus?
I tell you, there was some people stealing during that game, man. But it's the kind of game though where if you're playing in it, you're in trouble. that was that kind of game, meaning that, you're out of a job, meaning, you got chances are you're not going to make the team, So I think that's the thing, that it was just, the Eagles players, it was just horrible. I was kind of embarrassed sitting up there watching it because there weren't many fans there, Now, they made money because everybody that wasn't there had to pay, meaning you got the season ticket. So they were paying, but they just weren't there. And, it was just a few people there. It really was a real dud, if you ask me. And the way the Eagles went out and played, I mean, you wonder how many of those guys are going to be able to make the team. That's really what it comes down to.
Hey, Gary, I got to do this. I'm going to go down the list here for a couple guys, but I'm sorry, man. I don't see it with Nolan Smith. I don't see. I mean, you know what? I'm not expecting Pat Swilling or anything here, but I mean, dude, I just don't see it. What's your take on him?
Well, he's got the speed around the corner, but he just doesn't. He isn't showing me that he's a good football player yet. I don't see. He's got any kind of power moves. He's just a guy. He's going to run around the world. That's what he used to talk about, pass rushers like that. They're running so far out that if they do get around, they're never going to get there anyway. So he's been very disappointing. And really, the fact that he was playing was an indictment, because nearly everybody else that's valuable during the season, they didn't even dress. Because when they came out, I'm seeing all these guys going.
James Bradbury didn't even dress.
I know, you're right. James Bradbury didn't even practice. And it was he's been a disappointment so far. I'll tell you, and he's got his nice little comments afterwards and everything. I'm going, man, look, ain't nobody interested in them little silly comments.
Nothing.
I mean, you got to make some plays, man. I mean,
yeah, man, I'm not buying it anymore.
He played nearly the whole. I mean, at least a half he played.
No, he got into the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, and how many? Did he make a tackle? I don't know. And I don't want to put him in there with Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, but he's starting to act like a thief.
Man, hey, I got to get your take on this one now. So Jahan Dotson, wait a minute now, get this. So Washington drafts him, and 18 months later, they trade him in the division.
I know.
To a division foe. And I mean, I don't mean to pollute the question on you, Gary, but I mean, look, and I get it. They're going to bring him in to be in the 3-hole. So it's an upgrade there for Philadelphia. But I mean, Gary, this guy here was the 16th pick, and they gave up on him.
Okay, now this is, we were up
I
there,
like the deal. I like the deal for the Eagles.
Yeah, I like the deal for the Eagles too. Now, I was having it out with some of the guys too. We were talking about this, and one of the guys gave this point, which is a legitimate point, which is the people that draft him aren't there anymore in Washington. So they said, well, it's the kind of thing where this was not personal. Now, if the guys that drafted him were still there, then this would have been a personal affront to do that. But the fact that the guys that drafted him weren't there, it's like they go, we don't care what happens to this guy. Hey, if he's not here with us, we don't care where he's at. So it wasn't as personal, but at the same time, he's got something to prove. Now, hopefully, he's the kind of guy that this lights a fire under, Hopefully this kind of guy. And I'll tell you, it would be nice. And if there's some of the Eagle guys, some of his teammates need to put some fire under him. Tell him, look, they need to watch him, see him do something and go, hey, we don't do that like that here. Okay? Get your butt up and run, or whatever they could tell him, to get some fire under him, because the kid has got talent. He's definitely got talent, but they need it out of him. I mean, and really right now, with all the Eagles have done, This team got to do something, man. All this talent, these guys got to do something, man. I mean, I know defensively they've got guys they've got to develop and all that, but they've got an offense that should be able to carry them for a while. And the defense, because I see the kids, they got talent over there, but they got to show up. They got to have the toughness. You got to, and I haven't liked where, you see guys wrapping up their knee. They can't practice. Look, you got to learn how to play with a little pain, dude. They need to get that conversation.
Hey, that league's all about that.
Come on, man. This is nothing against baseball or basketball. Look, this is football. You got to wrap that stuff up and get on out there, man. They need to have that conversation with some people. Look, when we put you in a spot where we're showing we need you, dude, we need you. Shoot that thing up. Whatever you got to do, we need you to play.
Gary, do you think that mentality there, Tyler Steen missing time, Paris Campbell missing time,
yeah.
Tyler Steen lost a position
I know
because he couldn't pay through playing. Do you think this all comes back how they look at the exhibition season and that they really don't look at the exhibition season as a priority? They look more at those organized team practices than they do the exhibition season. I'm watching Kansas City, Gary. They're playing Patrick Mahomes for 2 of the 3 preseason games, and they're going for an iconic moment of a three-peat. You could lose that guy in a game that doesn't matter, and there's Mahomes. In the second quarter, you're going, why is that guy out there? But they look at that whole thing differently, and the Eagles look at it the other way. September 6th, you're going to roll that offense out down in Brazil without having any quality reps? How confident are you?
Well, this is not the way I believe. I was not brought up this way. You know that I was not brought up this way. So, but I'm trying to, see it their way. I stand over there and watch practice. I'm standing over there going like, this is not what I believe in. You got to have some toughness. You got to have players where you look in the guy in the eye and go, man, look, dude, I'll be ready on Sunday. And where whatever this guy got to do, he's going to be out there on Sunday, giving you everything he's got and giving you a good effort and playing well. Because you got to be able to play through some pain and stuff. Come on, this is the football I know, and you find a way to play. And we don't need you coming out and crying and in the interview after the game crying about how you had to play in pain. Look, playing with pain is part of this game. Okay? So they're going to need that because if you want to win a championship, you're going to need some of that. So what you're talking about with Kansas City, this is what Andy Reid grew up with.
Yeah.
So he would tell the guys, look, man, if you're going to be a guy we can count on, you got to be able to play with some pain. You got to be able to play through some injuries, and as I told you before, I saw those guys where you're fighting for a starting job on a team that's got a good chance to win the Super Bowl or be there in the hunt. They're clearly one of the
teams. You give that effort last Saturday. Gary, my takeaway from Minnesota was I wasn't looking for a lot. I was just looking for you to give a shit.
That's right.
Play hard and angles and technique. It's like a mentality that the organization has. Well, we don't care about it. Why should the players? And it looked like that's how it resonated in the actions of the players.
It was really horrible. That was a horrible performance. I mean, regardless of who you put out there, when you have a championship team, there's certain things where from just putting on the jersey, man, we don't take anything from anybody. That's the kind of attitude you're supposed to have. You got a championship team. You put on the jersey, even, and see, hopefully you're going to develop this where they look. I don't care if you're a free agent or whatever. You're trying out for this team, dude. You put on that jersey, you have better play and stop playing like a little old whatever. I ain't gonna get into that, but it's ridiculous to have that kind of a performance because they need to have that kind of quality of fight because ultimately that's what it's going to take. You're going to get in some tough games and some tough situations, and how much this team is willing to fight is ultimately going to be how far they go.
Two last ones here. Do you think we're seeing a little bit of the lack of Fletcher Cox being out there in that defense with leadership, like you say, that, you know what, like you said, look, man, I'm not looking for you to go out there and win a ton of exhibition games. I'm just looking for you to give a shit and to go out there and be accountable. It's one thing to be on a chat with all these guys like Devin White is and all that. It's another thing of Nolan Smith. There's a lot of talking going out there, but I ain't seeing it. And I'm like, do you think that that's just kind of like the beginning of it, where a little bit that leadership is going to be in question at the beginning of the season?
Well, I can tell you, looking at the defense, you clearly don't have veteran leaders out there. You don't
at every level.
You don't have that, and they've got to develop that. That's why the development of that defense is going to be ultimately the key to their season. Because offensively, I don't see any way, because you got leaders, because you have guys that have done it before, I expect the offense to come out and give me 35 a game, just about. That's what I'm expecting. I mean, unless something happens, look, you guys got to come out and perform. You got to carry this team till these guys grow up. But I think I want to see some of the guys on offense need to start kicking some butt and tell them, guys, look, you guys need to straighten up. You guys, because they're going to have to get after them if they're being sloppy or whatever, because they got to grow up during this season, and they got to grow up to the point to where you can play in a big game and come out and deliver. And that's going to be ultimately the key to this season is, does this defense grow up? And that means guys like, Jalen Carter and things getting to the point where, look, I'm playing on this level and I'm whooping butt. I don't care who lines up over me. He's got to have that kind of an attitude and the kind of toughness that you need throughout that defense. That's going to be the key to their season, because the offense is there. They've been grooved. They've been through this, but they don't really have a lot of veterans on the defense that have been through this before and that they can count on, to be excellent.
One last one here for you, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Are you concerned about Saquon Barkley and his back? They're talking disc issues, saying a little bit here. Now, here we're talking about a guy I think, and see, I had a conversation with Xander earlier. I think you're going to need him earlier in the year because you're going to want to control the clock and keep that defense on the sidelines. You're not going to want to go 3 and outs and put that team on. But what I don't want is, I don't want that defense, Gary, in the first month of the season playing 75 plays. I want them to be more under 60 plays.
Mm-hmm.
That gives me a better chance of winning that football game, and along with field position also. So, if he's a little bit banged up right now, I mean, it's got to be concerning.
Well, the thing is, I look at him, and the dude is a specimen. I mean, the legs he's got, as big as and as fast as he is. So I know a guy that muscular, at times, he's got to make sure he's stretched out. And sometimes when he has any kind of an injury, that sometimes they last longer on a guy that's so muscular, But they got to do whatever they can. But they need him. I mean, you got to have him because he is the addition that really just puts defenses in a quandary where there is no defense that's going to take away him and take away those receivers. You got to take away.
Believe we are froze. Hopefully we can close it up here with Gary and close it up. That was all great stuff there too, guys. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we can close it out here with Gary Cobb. If he comes back, all good. If he doesn't, that was good stuff. Again, hey, what I said about Saquon, I think you got to run the ball early in the year to get your defense in a position where you keep him off the field. You can't have that defense, in my opinion, you can't have that defense in a position where you're going back and forth with Green Bay in that opener. You just can't, because, again, that defense is not ready to stop. They're not ready to stop people yet, and especially a quarterback like Jordan Love. And the play caller that Matt LaFleur is. You know what? I got to say this. We're going to talk about the Packers at the top of the hour here. We'll talk about Green Bay. That'll be at the top. Please hit the like button, guy. We really appreciate it. Yeah, well, let's just take a time out here. Joe, if Gary comes back, we'll just call it a day. I thought he was really good as usual. Please hit the like button. Where are we, guys, right now in the like list? Where are we on that like button right now? Guys, killed it last week. You absolutely killed it. Wayne goes, BG's going to shock the league with his performance. Dude, he's going to play 17 plays a game at most. Kind of hard to lead when you're not starting. Look, he's built a ton of equity up. Not saying it. 251. Guys, you guys really great day so far on this Monday. 49 away from getting to 300. Guys, awesome stuff. Please hit the like button. We'll talk at the top of the hour about the 2024 Green Bay Packers. Obviously, we will go back and forth for the next 2 weeks as we get ready for that game next Friday. So hit the like button. Keep it here. National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Stills National Football Show, top of the hour. We're going to talk Green Bay Packers. First opponent for the upcoming 2024 season for the Philadelphia Eagles. I got asked a question by some of my friends over at the NFL Network, most notably Brian Baldinger, and he said, name your elite quarterbacks in the league in your top 3 for the MVP this year. So obviously I said Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Rodgers, and Stafford. Those are your elite guys. Those are the quarterbacks that you win because of them, not in spite of them. Those 6 guys are probably your elite dudes. If you want to take Stafford off that list, that's fine. Okay? Now, again, I'll do the MVPs, my top 3. Hey, JM, I was asked on elite and the MVP. Try listening, too. Not a skill set of yours. So the elite guys, if you want to go 6, it's fine. I could bite on 5. Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Rodgers, and I threw Stafford in there. Okay? Big John, Big Sills, you ready for this season to get started? Let's up and go, baby. I'm with you, man. How you doing? Those are your elite quarterbacks. The guys that win because of them. Those are your dudes. Sills, Eagles can establish the run early without overloading Barkley. Situational use. Gainwell and Shipley early in the season helps should Barkley get really injured. It will keep the D guessing. Let me tell you something. If Will Shipley and Kenny Gainwell are the feature backs in that offense, they don't threaten me. And they're not going to run Hurts. They're going to be one-dimensional again. And get this, you know what you're going to be 2023's offense. If that guy gets injured, Barkley, what's the difference between 2023 and 2024 if Barkley can't go? You're actually even worse because Kenny Gainwell's not DeAndre Swift. So you'd actually be a downgrade. Think about that. If Barkley gets hurt, you're 2023 predictable again. A completely different scheme. You won't be dimensional. Your ability to run the ball and throw the ball. Get this. How are you going to have a new scheme without Barkley in it? And Kenny Gainwell's your feature back. Really, the same talented people that you'll have. Okay, I don't have to respect the run. Oh, I won't respect your motion. Don't you get it? You respect the motion because of Barkley back there. That's why you respect it. If Kenny Gainwell's back there, fuck the motion. I don't care about it. I don't respect him. And they're not going to run Hurts. Holy cow, really? You think that a D coordinator is going to respect Kenny Gainwell running the ball when they've never? Barkley being in the backfield, when you run that motion, I can't leave my post. Why? Because they can run the ball with that dude. That's why you're paying him $10 million. You take him out of that equation, I don't have to respect your motion. Because then it's going to be a decoy. I don't care. I'm going to stick with my keys in front of me. I'm not following motion. With Barkley behind me, that's right. Gainwell's situational. He's not an every down back. You're out of your mind. This is why I told Xander, Barkley's essential to the motion. Why? If I'm a linebacker and I'm wearing the green dot and I see him lined up behind Jalen Hurts, I've got to respect play action and the motion, because if I move my post, they'll run right up the middle on me. If I don't see him back there, I don't believe they're committed to the running game. No way. No way. Just like a year ago. I don't give a shit who's calling your plays. Kenny Gainwell is not DeAndre Swift, who also got $8-9 million in Chicago. Holy shit. Try using your brains. Still's not featured, but used in right spots like the RBs were used in 17. Yeah, but you had a different dynamic then, Bob. You had a Dye and you had Blunt. One was a 20-yard guy who was a red zone dude, and the other guy went from 20 to 20 and was a really good in the middle of the field back. You had basically a dual threat, double-headed attack with those two guys. They were completely different dudes. Completely different. And they were really talented guys. And one thing about Blunt, you can always say, he was a freak inside the red zone. Whether it was in New England, now the Pittsburgh experiment sucked for him, but when he was when he was in Cleveland, when he was in Philly, and he was in New England, even with the Bucs, he was awesome in the red zone. He was awesome in the red zone. Sent Barkley in motion to line up as a receiver. That's all great. And I would respect that. And I would move with him. He's hurt. Paris Campbell's not frightening me. Okay? Paris Campbell's not frightening me. Okay? Let's see here. I don't trust any running backs that we have on our roster right now. Well, I mean, you got to trust Barkley. Okay, you got to trust Barkley. Paris Campbell, the real Zeal calls trash. That's why they went out and got our trade and went and got the kid from Washington. Okay? 96, what am I mad at? I don't know what you're talking about. You think I get mad at talking sports? Once again, you're high. Campbell won't make the roster. Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. Actually, because you went and got Dotson, the younger guys may actually make the roster. So maybe you're right. I don't know. Okay. Packers ain't got an O line. Who says you got a D line? Packers don't have to have a good wide receiving core. Their quarterback's the guy. They develop wideouts in Green Bay, Philadelphia. They don't draft wide receivers. Christian Watson's a fine ball player. They make wide receivers in Green Bay. They develop them. They don't go out in free agency and sign them or draft them. 2 number 1 wide receivers in 40 years in the first round they've drafted. 2 in 40 years. Because Green Bay has quarterbacks they've developed. You think Josh Jacobs will ball out in Green Bay? I absolutely do. He's an upgrade from Aaron Jones, in my opinion. You got them keeping 7 wide receivers because I don't. Well, remember something, though. Bubba, always remember this. What is the head coach's forte? What's the forte? He came into the league as a wide receiver coach. So he's going to covet that position. Okay, he's going to covet that position. So you could see more wideouts being kept than even linebackers, believe it or not. JM goes, not behind that trash line. Yeah, okay. Sure, dude. What happened to you last year with your offensive line? You know, you're talking about Green Bay's trash line. What about yours? You got a trash defensive secondary of linebackers, and you're limited in pass rushing. And the quarterback is a superior passer in 1 year. He's done more than Hurts has ever done throwing the ball. 1 year starting, he's done more. That's a fact. And he won his first playoff game. Ringo goes, this defense is going to stink this season. I think early, Ringo. I don't know late. The vets on the D make no difference in the positive way because you have very few. Brandon Graham won't make any impact whatsoever. Slay, Bradbury, those are your other veterans. Let's see. Packers are a solid team. They'll be a good team. They'll be a good early test. Well, I'm thinking you're losing that game. I don't have you beating them. So, Sills, are you saying both teams suck? No, Sean. I'm saying both teams have issues. But at least Green Bay's more bound. We're going to talk about it here in a minute. Green Bay Packers. I'll give you my true test on them, or I'll give you my true take on them. Sills, you don't believe that Moore can use Barkley in a blunt role? Oh, I think they're going to. Gainwell in the die role. No, man. Barkley's the 20-20 guy. Saquon Barkley, I'm not just using Barkley as a red zone back. No way. No way. JM goes that. Then how come Josh Jacobs in the same amount of time has more rushing yards than Barkley? Because he's been healthier. Josh Jacobs has more rushing yards. How many years is I want to get that right? How many years that Josh Jacobs has been in the league? Josh Jacobs stats. Let's see how many years he's been in the league. I thought he came into the league the same year as Saquon Barkley did. No, he came in 19, and he's got 5,545 yards rushing. He's got 3. Get this. Somebody just said he's only got 1 good season. Well, he's rushed 3 times in 6 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. He's rushed 3 times for over 1,000 yards. And he's got 46 touchdowns in 73 games. And in 72 starts, he's got 76. And his yards per carry are 4.2. I bet you he's got more rushing yards than Barkley does. Absolutely. Better back. By the way, he played on the shitty Raiders too. Well, he played on the really bad Giants. Well, he played on a really bad Raiders team. If Barkley loses maybe week 7 to 10, but we get him back, you think it's, yeah, Alejandro, you need that guy on your football team in November, December, and January. September, October, shit like that. I don't care about that, man. You need that guy later in the year. Okay? You need him later in the year. That's when you're going to need him. Hey, and get this, especially if you drop that opening game to Green Bay, and let's just say that's a tiebreaker, and you got to go to Green Bay, you're going to want a running game up there. Okay? JM says that Saquon Barkley's DeMarco Murray. Oh, really? Wow. Okay. He's DeMarco Murray. Okay. He is spent. We'll see. He's already hurt. Our defense will be on point around week 9, as long as no injuries. Yeah, and guys step up. Sills, what do you think will have faster success, pass rush or secondary coverage? Martin, they all go hand in hand, in my opinion. You've got to get pressure. You've got to get pressure going. Okay? Got to get pressure going here. All right, we're going to take a look at the Green Bay Packers. We'll take a time out. Guys, where are we in the like list right now? Where are we on that like list? You guys have really been great. And I'm going to give you a fair assessment of the Green Bay Packers. Where's that? Here we go. Where are we on the like list? I can't thank you guys enough. It's going to be a college football week, too, a little bit. We're going to start sprinkling in some because big college football weekend. 274. It's great. Guys, do me a favor. Please keep hitting the like button. Love to get over 300. Maybe kind of roll it towards 350 on a first day of the week. Guys are really great. Thank you so much. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Guys, please hit the like button. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Really, Psycho Sid died today. Wow. Those guys, they die young, those wrestlers, man. What a tough profession. Toughest thing I ever did was professional wrestling. Holy cow. Absolutely. Hey, guys, before I move on, and I promised my aunt this, who watches the show, I promised that I wouldn't do anything politics, and I'm not. I'm going to do something on journalism. I heard something, and I was watching something today, and I was just watching where our profession is, journalism, and how the people today that work in my business, either news or sports, they're just not very educated. So I was watching a lady drill Robert Kennedy Jr. on the Palestinian and Israeli conflict. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to her drill him. And she has no idea that her father was murdered by a Palestinian national, and Sirhan. And I'm sitting there going, do you have any sense of history on who you're talking to? Okay. JM goes, you're not a journalist, you're a streamer. So is Joe Rogan, and so is the rest of those guys. And personally, I was in the media on radio 32 years. Okay, no, it's not politics. I'm talking about journalism. I'm not talking about the conflict. I don't care. It's not my place right here, nor is the show that. I'm talking about how we cover things. Okay? And okay, that's, yeah, but JM, appreciate you being here every day. Thank you, brother. Means a lot. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Whether I'm talking in a plastic cup with a string, you're here. Thank you. Means a lot. Shows you again, you're not very educated. Sports talk, sports journalism as well. I mean, RFK Jr.'s dad was murdered by a Palestinian. And she's sitting there drilling him. I'm going like, man, you have no respect for anything. You don't even know your profession. So take everything with a grain of salt. Okay? Just take everything with a grain of salt here. Okay. I said this. They got the deal done for CeeDee Lamb. If I'm Dak Prescott, okay, I'm Dak Prescott. I'm not signing a contract with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not signing a contract. Just like with Milton Williams, I'm going to put a sign on my chest that says, I'm here for rent. Whoever wants to rent me or buy me, I'm here. Dak Prescott's going to make more money on the open market than he will in Dallas. CeeDee Lamb signed a contract that was less than Justin Jefferson. Now, is he better than Jefferson? No. Is he better than AJ? No, but they gave him more than AJ. Dak Prescott, if Kirk Cousins is going to make $50 million this year, that guy's going to make $60 million plus. Get out in the open market. Dak Prescott will be the most sought-after quarterback this coming offseason. You know why? Puts the numbers up, and you get paid on numbers, not winning Super Bowls. Just understand that. You don't get paid on Super Bowls. You get paid on numbers that you put up. Okay? I mean, you're paid on numbers. Kirk is Dak. Kind of. But he's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. And he's won 36 games the last 2 years. He's going to get paid by winning games. And he's going to get paid by putting numbers up. That's a fact. It's funny. Everyone looks at, goes, well, there's no quarterback outside of Burrow and Mahomes that has a winning record in the postseason. No one does. Brian, I saw that. Shady McCoy going to the Eagle Hall of Fame. I think that's pretty dope. If you notice one thing they're trying to do, all the guys that Brian Kelly whacked, Deshaun Jackson and Shady McCoy, there's no coincidence. I think those two guys have been put in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, or excuse me, in the Eagle Hall of Fame. And I think Howie Roseman has a lot to do with that. It's kind of a backhanded slap towards Chip. Those guys going into Hall of Fame, kind of in the same progression. First Deshaun and then him. It's kind of a slap a little bit at Chip. You ask me. Okay? Yeah, I mean, no, they are putting him over, even though they treated him like shit out the door. Shady was that dude. Best at what he does since Barry. So wait a minute. Forrest says that Shady McCoy was better than Brian Westbrook. He says he's better than Brian Westbrook. Is he? Is Shady McCoy the best running back in pro football Eagle history? And Shady's not better than Derrick Henry. Let's not go crazy. Andreas goes, yes. More yards, yes. Okay, so that means this, that Emmitt Smith. Wait a minute, who said that? More yards. Okay. So, Wayne, in your opinion then, since Barry Sanders has the most yards rushing in pro football history, he's the greatest running back of all time. Is that correct? If that's your metric, you're not really wrong. Then you're not wrong. But if that's your metric, you got to use it for everyone. Wait a minute. Martin says Jim Brown. Wait a minute. Frank Gore's got more rushing yards than Jim Brown. According to some of you guys, like Wayne, Frank Gore's better than Jim Brown. Frank Gore and Curtis Martin are better than Jim Brown, according to Wayne. Emmett's got the most rushing yards, so he's the greatest back in your eyes of all time, right? JM goes, now it's all subjective. Okay, so wait a minute. If you had to win one football game with one back, Brian Westbrook or Shady McCoy, you had to win a 60-minute game, who would you take? Who would you take? You had to win a 60-minute ball game. Real Zeal goes, I'm going with Shady. I'm taking Westbrook. There's something about Westbrook, man. Every time he touched the ball, I'm a Westbrook guy. I think Westbrook was more clutch, and I think when I saw him in big games, I mean, he just looked better. Shady's a really good ball player, man, and I'm not – hey, congratulations, Shady McCoy, going in the Eagle Hall of Fame, and deservingly so. Deservingly so. This is not a rip conversation. This is picking between two exceptional football players. Real Zeal goes, Shady wasn't big in big games. What game was he in that was real big? I missed it. He was in a Super Bowl? No, that's right. They cut him before that or traded him. What big game was Shady McCoy in Philly? Well, I don't believe he's ever played in one. What big game? I don't ever remember those guys, Deshaun Jackson or Shady, in big games. I mean, I'm again, no rip. Cowboys feared Westbrook. They did. I know that. Okay. They did. He was, I'm telling you, the most complete back in Eagle history is Brian Westbrook. Dude, I'm a massive Brian Westbrook fan. I think he was Christian McCaffrey before McCaffrey. See, as you taking Eric Dickerson or Henry? Dickerson. Dickerson's a great football. Dickerson's the best running back I've ever played against. Just incredible speed, power. Don't let him get in a second level. He's gone. Ran 4.5s. Insanity. And he was 6'4". Eric Dickerson was and incredible. Shitty was the third option. Westbrook was the entire offense and special teams. Correct. I mean, yeah, Westbrook was a beast. And my greatest hit in NFL small Dan Sileo career was on Dickerson. I knocked him out of the game. He came back in and still went for 197. When he was on the Colts. He was on the Colts team. Yeah, and get this, Pickens, his first 2 years in the league, let me write this down. Dickerson had 880 and then 2150. Eric Dickerson had 4,000 yards rushing in his first 2 years in the league. $4,000. Hey, Pickens, you hear me? Eric Dickerson had 4,000 yards rushing. Almost the entire career of a 6-year career of Barkley in 2 years. I mean, he was a freak of nature, man. He was another reason I almost went to SMU. Jeff, thank you, my friend. JM goes different era. Yeah, because the backs were better and conditioned, and there were better running backs. The best running backs in the game today, I think Henry. They're just different. It's different. They're good athletes. They catch the ball more. It's a different league, man. It's just a different league. There were better old lines then. Okay, there were just different. It's a different era. Okay. LaShawn McCoy had 57 carries for 222, 390 carry and 1 touchdown in 7 games in the playoffs in his career. Not very impressive. Brian Westbrook had 129 carries for almost 600 yards and almost 5 yards a carry and 6 touchdowns in 11 playoff games in his career. Showed up bigger and bigger games. Now, again, everything is comparable to remembering on O-lines and quarterback play and defense and, but just an overall blanket comment like that. Let's see here. Sills, who was the meanest offensive lineman you ever went up against? I have something. I wrote it. I don't know where I put it. It was really great because I found it the other day. I didn't play against Conrad Dobler, but he sent this thing to me, and I don't know where I put it. Oh, wait. Is this it? No, that's not it. Yeah, Dobler sent something to me. And it was, he goes, you're lucky you didn't play against me. Yeah, I saw it the other day. Yeah, I don't know where it is. But Conrad Dobler sent me something. But the meanest I ever played against was probably Mike Munchak. He was really great. All right. Let's get to the Green Bay Packers. First opponent for the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, please hit the like button. By the way, give me an update where we are right now. We're here down at the bottom of the hour here. So T.O. was hurt and Westbrook carried us to that Super Bowl. He's such a great player. He was such a great football player. 289. Thank you, guys. Please hit the like button. I'd like to get over 300. I love Westbrook. Absolutely one of my favorite running backs. Probably my favorite running back next to Wilbert Montgomery in Eagle history. Probably Montgomery. All right. How good do you think this Green Bay team is going to be this year? How good? I actually wrote down a prediction. Okay. How good will this team be that you play next Friday night? 11-6? Brian, think Neil, 11? 12-win team? Win the NFC North, 2 or 3 seed. 13 wins, John. Wow. I give them 10 wins. 12-5. All right. Here's my take on the Packers. Last year, 9-8. Had a playoff team. And 1-1 in the playoffs. Actually, so if you put their overall record in, they were 10-9. They actually won 1 game less than you did a year ago. If you count their playoff win. In 2023, this is just some cliff notes I wrote here. It was kind of a crazy year for Green Bay. The first 6 games, I watched them, and I maybe even said this on the program. And I said this, I went, man, Green Bay does not look good. And Matt LaFleur and that quarterback, they did not. I understand why Devontae Adams went to Las Vegas. He did not believe in that kid. Well, was I wrong? All of a sudden, that team, after about week 6 or 7, they started turning the thing around again. They destroyed the Cowboys in that wild card game. And they hung with San Francisco and went toe-to-toe in that divisional game. They hung right there. They were right there. Well, look at JM says Green Bay struggled against running teams. Well, you're not a running team anymore. You're going to throw the ball more. They were right there in that divisional game with the 49ers. Here's the offense. Up and down season. It really did. And it didn't look special for the first 6 weeks. It just did not look good. Love was up and down, and that was probably one of the reasons why the football team kind of went up and down, and you were like, I mean, they even lost to a shitty, I think, Giants team, but they beat a Chiefs team with a first-year starter. I think, hey, I believe they beat the Chiefs a year ago, too. I like that tight end, that Tucker Kraft kid. You watch him on it and you watch how he's become a main target for Jordan Love. He's starting to come on. And you're using him. And believe me, this kid, Tucker Kraft, is going to be a problem for your linebackers and your cover people in the middle of that zone. There's nobody you have that can cover him. By the way, is Tucker Kraft special? I don't know yet, but he looks pretty good. But you don't have anybody decent that could cover him. Nolan Smith can't cover him. Devin White can't cover him. And Nakobe Dean's not big enough to cover him. This guy could have a gigantic game in the middle of the field on the hash marks. Okay? I mean, who covers him? See, this is why you guys keep telling me 13 wins. You can't even cover a dude in Tucker Kraft. So when you tell me how good your team is, who's covering a good tight end on your team? You don't have anybody. Who, a safety? Shit, you played too high. You played too high safety. How are you covering a I'm not even talking Christian Watson. I'm talking about a good tight end, not a top 10 tight end. I'm talking about a good tight end. How are you covering him? JM goes, no, you won't figure it out because I'm going to use Vic Fangio. See this here? He's contradicting the general manager or the DC. Vic Fangio says schemes don't win games. Good players do. He's contradicting what the D coordinator says. No matter what you put on the chalkboard, JM, that's not what Vic is saying. Good players stop good players. not schemes. Dude, schemes are overrated if you don't have the Jimmies and Joes. You are delusional. He thinks because a guy draws something up on a piece of paper, that's the end all. That's not the end all. Better players win games versus lesser players. Not because you have, hey, that's like saying this. Get this, folks. I'll show you how pathetic this thinking is here of JM's. People would suggest then that Bill Belichick is not a good coach. No. Bill Belichick doesn't have the coaches nor the people. He's the same coach he was 25 years ago. There's nothing different. But here's the problem with Belichick. Belichick had 23 years of success. And the last 3.5 weren't good. Okay. Had to run out eventually. Belichick kept something going for 23 years. And then the last 3.5, he didn't have the coaches, nor did he have the players or the quarterback. Well, he's not a lesser coach. He's got lesser players. Get this. This is absolutely asinine. That's like saying the game's passed Andy Reid by. The game has not passed Andy Reid by, or he's no better of a coach. He's got a better quarterback than he had in Philly. You actually think Andy Reid's a better coach today than he was in Philly? No, he's not. He's pretty much the same guy, maybe a little bit better in time management going into the half and at the end of games, but he's the same guy. Mahomes has made him better. He's got more of a talented quarterback. He's not better than he was in Philly. He's got more helping personnel with Brett Veach helping him in Kansas City. Use your brains, man. By the way, here's another example of why the Patriots fell away under Bill Belichick. Who is now running? Brian, help these people out, Brian. Who's now running the personnel department for the Houston Texans? Does anyone know who's running the personnel department for the Houston Texans? Do you guys know? Houston's an up-and-coming football team, are they not? There you go, Jason. Nick Caserio. Hey, Jason, and tell these folks where Nick Caserio was working for a decade and a half. Where was Nick Caserio working? He's a Patriot. Hey, when you're good, you get hired away. Okay? Look at Scott here. What history is that actually where he's been to a Super Bowl and won one? I mean, there's a reason. By the way, all those coaches that were up in New England, not one of them turned out to be worth a shit as head coach. Not one of them. All the assistant coaches, maybe Bill O'Brien. Brian Flores did a nice job in Miami. The rest of them stunk. Forrest goes like this. Vic had the Dolphins defense top 10. Well, they had a good pass rusher and they had good corners. Okay. And then when they played the Eagles, Brian Johnson crushed them. What happened there? Brian Johnson beat the shit out of his defense. Oh, let me guess. Injuries? Wait, I thought he could scheme it up. I thought he could scheme it up. Malik Willis really traded to Green Bay? Now, see, Jamison Smith, that makes sense. I like that because it sets it's a skill set. Brian says Cowboys' Deron Bland is out for 6 to 8 weeks. Phew. Man. More bad news for Dallas. Okay. That's a pretty good sign there by Green Bay. I like that move. I like Hendon Hooker too, Scott. The Lions backup quarterback who was hurt at Tennessee when he came out. Yeah, I like him. I liked him when he was at Tennessee. I thought that was a nice sign. I did. I thought that was a nice sign by them. Here, let me continue. The addition of Josh Jacobs is spectacular. He's an upgrade to Aaron Jones. I think he'll be completely everything that Jordan Love needs. The O-line does have holes. I won't deny that. Bakhtiari's not there. The quarterback is going to have to do some things, which I think is going to have to create with quick release. Now, remember something, though. Here's the problem that you have week 1. If they get the ball out, you don't have pressure. 1, 2, 3, throw. You're playing 10 yards off the ball. He doesn't need a great O-line. You're 10 yards off the ball. And you play too high safety. You're not playing press coverage. Those wide receivers are going to be here. Let me line it up. Let me show you. Here's Green Bay's wide receivers. And here's your corners. You're 10 yards off the ball. Green Bay's wide receivers are going to be they're going to have all that space to run. 3-yard hitches, 5-yard hitches. Till you decide to come down a little higher. Then they'll put the tight end on the seam, and they'll hit the tight end coming down the seam or down the hash marks. I mean, your style of defense, he doesn't need a great O-line. Think about this one. Last year, Washington, hey, James Jones, would you not agree? Last year, Washington didn't have a great O-line. How was Sam Howell able to throw for almost 800 yards against you? Quick hitches, and you're playing 10 yards off the ball. And playing in those zone defenses. Linebackers not being able to cover. Hey, James, what was the passing yards numbers? Do you remember off the top of your head for Sam Howell? Sam Howell. Not Jordan Love. Sam Howell. I mean, by the way, you're playing off the ball again. Have you not watched preseason football and watch what they do in practice? You're going to be 10 yards off the ball. 10 yards off the ball. You don't need a great O-line. 3-yard hitches, 5-yard hitches, 1, 2, 3, throw, 1, 2, 3, throw, 1, 2, 3, throw. And with the lack of pressure, Jordan Love will complete 20 passes, 25 passes by halftime. By halftime. Our linebacker, our LB, got to cover. And Andrews and Otten. Hey, the kid from Cleveland is really good. He's a Miami Hurricane, so I'm a huge fan, Martin. I mean, just think of the numbers that Washington had last year and the amount of completions that they had. It was almost like 800 yards throwing the ball. And that was Sam Howell. By the way, Sam Howell actually did throw for more yards than Hurts. You better, Sills, because the Eagles are going to be scoring as well. Oh, no, Sean, I agree. Well, I hope they run the ball. Sills, face it, we have 2.5 players on defense, Carter, Sweat, and Mitchell. Yeah, right. Yes. Let's go to the defensive side. You know, they had this kid Savage who had a slow start to his career at the safety position. I thought he came on in 23. I thought he had a really good year. Then they lose him. And then they have to go out and overpay for Xavier McKinney. I mean, they paid like $15 million to put that guy back there. And I thought Green Bay overpaid for him. Look, I would have loved to have had Xavier McKinney playing safety for the Eagles, but at the number, I think he got $17.8 million bucks. I think he got 17.8 from Green Bay. That's a ton of money, man. That's a ton of money for a safety. 17.8? Fuck, man, that's a lot. And I don't know. I was a little rich. So I kind of go to Howie and I go, I'd rather have paid 17.2 for Patrick Queen, the linebacker from Baltimore, than him. You know, you had to make a trade. Oh, no, Patrick Queen was a free agent. So it wasn't a trade. It was a sign of 3 years. They gave him a 3-year contract. That's right. Steven goes, like that with you because everything about everybody on the Eagles, you say the other team who's covering them is better than them. They are. You were 31st in pass defense, and now you got new faces and experience. What are you talking about? Your cornerbacks, one's old and one's brand new. If you actually think, dude, Quinyon Mitchell's not starting. If Vic Fangio thought he was good enough, he'd start. He's not starting at corner, and he drafted him to be a corner. You got him in the slot? What's that tell you? He's not good enough to play corner right now. You drafted him as a corner, did you not? Why is he playing in the slot? I get you want to get him on the field, but that's not why you drafted him, to play the slot. You drafted him to play corner. He's not good enough to beat Isaiah Rodgers out yet. What's that tell you? Vic doesn't trust him. He doesn't trust him yet. That's where you are right now. Okay? Why is he in the slot? I thought you drafted this guy 22 to start at corner for you. His speed, Sills. Vic saw his closing speed, and it works great in the slot. You didn't draft him to be a slot corner. You drafted him to be a cover corner, play on the numbers. You didn't draft him to be there. That's not why you drafted him. That's why you drafted him. Okay. By the way, do I think I'm not saying he can't develop into that, but Vic doesn't think so right now. Or he'd be your number one corner. By the way, Deron Arnold's starting in Detroit. He's starting. Sales, obviously, Vic is going to trust Slay over rookies, just common sense. Sean, try telling that to people. He'll start veteran guys over everyone pretty much. Okay? Yes, but Vic saw that he can do with his speed. Nothing wrong with that. Martin, you didn't draft him to be a slot corner. And his weight in gold is going to be at the cornerback position, not in the slot. Okay? Fly goes, yeah, there's a good excuse. Fly goes like this. Arnold's starting because Detroit has no other options. So you're going to start a guy who was out of the league for gambling, who hasn't really had a ton of experience at corner either. What's your options? You couldn't beat a guy out that was out for a year and barely played corner? I mean, you don't have anything to stand on. You have nothing to stand on with that. It's not like you have a ton of experience on your team. And he's a starter outside. The kid from Bama has to start in Detroit. They had trash there to begin with. Well, what do you have now? James Bradbury. He wasn't brought in to take Slay's spot. He was drafted to take Bradbury's spot, and he couldn't do that. Bradbury's still on the team even. He's playing in the slot, a position he's never played. Look at this one. You have no Aiden Hutchinson on your team with pass rushing like that. You don't. Their front seven's better. They got better linebackers. The kid Campbell they drafted in the first round is pretty good. Not exceptional. He's good. Better than anything you got. Dude, Detroit is a more balanced team. Their offensive line is better than the Eagle offensive line. Their running game is pretty good. The receiving core is clearly not better, I don't believe. That tight end, Laporte, is better than Goddard. You know why? Well, he'll be there 17 games. And Golf is accomplished. He's gone to 2 NFC titles. He's won 1. He's been to a Super Bowl himself. Throws for 4,500 yards every year, 30 touchdowns. He's a very underrated player. And I'm not a Jared Goff guy. Okay? Totally different team. Yeah. One's got good players on both sides of the ball. Absolutely. Scott goes like this: Detroit is cost effective. That's all. Well, that's what the NFL is all about, my friend, when you make right draft choices. When you traded Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams, every single one of those picks have now panned out. And they built their team through the draft on both sides of the football. Okay? Look at this one right here. It's a great take, Forrest. Laporte was there at 30, but we picked Nolan Smith. Okay? Shields, you jumping on their bandwagon? I've already said it. I think the Lions are winning the Super Bowl. I've already picked them to beat Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. I got Lions and Bengals. Because you have Goddard. Yeah, well, Goddard's overrated. Dallas Goedert's overrated. I've never seen a tight end in Philadelphia not have 100 catches or 1,000 yards and get paid $15 million and miss 25% of his career since he's been in the league. So you're saying Detroit is better than the Eagles at every position except receiver? No, I'm saying they got a better 53-man roster than you. They're better on defense. They're better on, well, they got a better 53-man roster. You got a better offense, but you don't have a better roster. Yeah, I'm saying that. Get this. Look at this. This is what Twiz thinks. That Bryce Huff is Aiden Hutchinson. I don't believe we're going to the Super Bowl this year. I believe this is the year to get the defense better, put them out there and the young guys and let them play. Steve, I agree. I think you're going to be real good in 25. Okay? I think you're going to be real good at 25 at in 2025. I mean, real good. If these young players pan out, get this. That's not what people are saying. Detroit's offensive line is rated better than yours. They got the top center in the NFC. They got the top left tackle in the NFC. They got one of the top right tackles in the NFC, and they got one of the top guards in the NFC. Their O-line is ranked the best in the NFC, their O-line. It's not true. Let's see here. Seals, Jordan Love is going to torch Detroit's defense. Okay? I sure hope so, because I've never seen it. I think by week 9, 11, our defense will be legit. So let me ask you something here. This is what he says here. Who said that? 9. Okay. All right. Alejandro, I'll play a game with you here. How many years, Alejandro, has it taken for Jordan Davis to start developing into a good player? Was this going into his 3rd year? 3 years. Okay. Jacoby, still developing, right? He's in his 3rd year. Nolan, he's not developing. He's going into his 2nd year, right? Burrow hasn't done a damn thing in the league, can't stay healthy, and look, Hairstill's pumping him up. Stop your crap, man. Yeah, okay, well, Joe Burrow's 10 times better than Hurts. So let me go back to where I was. Thanks for the super chat, dude. So all these guys are taking 2-3 years to develop as a player. Quinyon Mitchell will take 2 years. Cooper DeJean will probably take 3. So how can you think your defense is going to be matured by week 11 when you have all these young players you got to count on that are still in the developmental stages? Bryce Huff's not developed. Stop saying this. Bryce Huff's not a great pass rusher. He had a great year. That doesn't mean he's a great pass rusher. He is not an elite pass rusher. He's had one season where he was on a 4-win team or 6-win team. That's not elite. It's not elite. Get this. Joe Burrow's 5-2, or is he 5-0? I forget. Is he 5-2 or 5-0 versus Mahomes? The only guy that could beat Mahomes in an AFC Championship game has been Joe Burrow. And Brady. I think Joe Burrow's 5-0. 5-0 versus Mahomes. 5-0. He's been the only guy that's been proven to beat him in clutch moments. Devin, is it 5-1? Okay, 5-1. Can't name another quarterback out there that's got a record like that versus the best quarterback in pro football. Hey, Devin, I didn't think he had any losses against him, but he could be 5-1. Okay, he could be 5-1. Rakeem, it's 5-1. Okay, it's 5-1. See, get this. If Jordan Love was an Eagles, Sills, you know you'd be saying shit like, he had a breakout season, but I have to see it again. I still have to see it again. Do you have him as an MVP prospect? No. My MVP guys, I didn't say it, are Allen, Mahomes, and Herbert. No. I do have to see it a little more. I actually have to see it with a little more with Purdy too. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, sure. Well, hey guys, you're under the assumption that some of you think that your takes are that important that I have to lie to you. They're not. Okay? They're not that important when it comes to having to lie. I like them. But to put the word lie on, for what? Hey, get this. Why in the world would you think that that is that important to me to lie to? Yeah. Beating Mahomes has done what exactly for the Bengals and Hurts. No. Marshall, you take Hurts, I'll take Joe Burrow. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, dude. It's all good. All right, guys. Do me a favor. Where are we in the like list? By the way, thanks for the super chat there, Big Marshall. You're awesome. Where are we right now in the super chats? Sills, you're under the assumption that your takes are law. There's no such thing as a take in cement. How many times I tell you that? Players' performances. This is not true. I don't assume that. There's no such thing as a take in cement. NFL is constantly moving. Player could play great one year, poor the next year, like your guy. 311. All good. Guys, please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey. official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills. Hey, Big Joe, can we put that super chat up there? Big Marshall, never want to hose my boy, man. And you won't have a quarterback by week 2. Give me Hurts. Fantastic. All good, dude. I'll take Joe Burrow any day. I promised I did find it. Look at what Conrad Dobler. You guys don't know who this guy is. He was considered the meanest man in the history of the National Football League. And, of course, he was my friend. And every time I used to see him, to Dan, stay wild, Conrad Dobler. I can't believe I found it. Get this, it fell out of a book. I have so much shit in my house that, I mean, we move everything and something falls out. Yeah, man, he's passed on since, but this guy was a man. I think he was a 5-time Pro Bowler, too. He played with the St. Louis Cardinals. This guy is an old school back in the day, man. I think that's a Buffalo Bills jersey, too, that he was wearing. I didn't realize that he had played also in Buffalo. Yeah. Wayne goes, I know about Dobler. Watched him play. Okay. Okay. Sean goes, you're right, Sills. Never heard of his ancient ass. That's when players actually did practicing. Okay. Sills, you can send me some stuff. Okay, Twiz. I'll put that on my agenda. I got shit up my rear end over here I got to still send out. What are you, crazy, man? Got people wanting me to sign books and all kinds of BS. It's all good. Well, that's but dude, what? Hey, he was great, man. He's a great football player. Anyway, guys, really appreciate it. We are in a kind of like a bye week, so to speak, as we get ready for the following Friday, Thursday too. Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, football, NFL, then college on Saturday. So please hit the like button on the way out the door. Thank you guys very much. Xander and Big Joe, we appreciate it. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we shall see you on the flip side.